Moving right along in the Anunnaki diary of humanity, right? Because that's exactly what we're dealing with, right? It's a diary of humanity's history. When we were last together, we covered the creation of the Tiamat, which is the true mitochondrial Eve. We've all heard that term before, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with that term, mitochondrial Eve. Shout out to all my beautiful melanated sisters in here, descendants of mitochondrial Eve. Big shout out to my beautiful melanated goddesses. Y'all better watch out, man. These white women out here talking about they mitochondrial Eve. Hey, I want y'all to know something. Listen, it is a group of white people out here teaching this information, and they teach this information like all the characters are white folks. You know what I'm saying? They teach it like all the characters are white folks. Oh, I heard this woman talking about Marduk and talking about Ninmah. And I'm like, man, these ain't no white folk, man. Them folks is not pale skinned. These is not your people. This is not your story. Okay? Yeah, whoever said they first time in here, this is a private group, coach. It's a private, you gotta be a course member to be able to attend this live, okay? I know TikTok allows you to just come into a room, but TikTok also allows us to structure our lives the way we want them to go. So if you want to join us, you got to be a course member, okay? What's up, Miss Corlisa? What's happening? Peace and love, my sister. Peace and love. We got rules, and the reason we have to do things a certain way, guys, because we got rules. Yeah, see what I'm saying? You need to go get familiar with me, family. That's what you need to do, right? If you're going to come in my live, you need to at least know who I am. To be honest with you, that's weird as fuck. If you jumping from live stream to live stream and you don't know the people who live stream you going in, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? So go get to know me, bro, so you'll know what's going on. You go get to know me and what I got going on, and then you come back. Because one thing I'm not going to do is sit up here and explain who I am every fucking time a new person finds the live. We already do that. We got live streams where we do that, where we talk about the teachings, where we talk about me, but we're not going to do that every time a new person come in here. It will be counterproductive, okay? So we're gonna block you from the live if you're not a course member. If you're not a course member, we are going to block you, okay? Make sure you're a course member, or make sure you're in here excessively gifting. Now, if you're not a course member, the only way to hang around is make sure you gifting up the live. If you gifting up the live, I'm going to let you chill. But if you're not a course member and you in this bitch not gifting, man, you're not going to hang around. Why are you here? Why? That just help me understand that. Why would you be here? If you're not here supporting or you're not a member, why would you be here? All right, so let's get back to it. When we were last together, we covered the creation of the Tiamat, which is the true mitochondrial Eve, the first woman. Now, science has already confirmed who mitochondrial Eve is, as well as the region from which she hails from, which was concluded South Africa. All right, let's do it. Let's get some validation going. Let's talk facts. Right? So if somebody was to say the Anunnaki story isn't true, right? Let's say somebody, hey man, the Anunnaki stuff ain't true. This ain't true. This ain't happening. This ain't happening. Well, listen, bro, all we can do is go by what the facts say. So the Anunnaki, the Sumerian tablets tells us the story about these Anunnaki coming here for gold, and out of the necessity of mining the gold, they needed to create a primitive race to mine the gold for them, right? And this all took place in the landmass of Africa. right? So listen, if the Anunnaki story isn't true, we shouldn't find no traces of ancient Homo sapiens in Africa. We shouldn't, it should be some other place. It should be some European place, right? The Anunnaki said that they created these hominids in the lower Abzu, which we call South Africa, okay? Enki had a laboratory in the lower Abzu, what we call South Africa, okay? So let's take a read. Let's read where the location of mitochondrial Eve, let's see where her location was, where they found her, okay? According to current scientific studies, mitochondrial Eve, the female ancestor from whom all living humans inherited their mitochondrial DNA, is believed to have lived where? In Southern Africa. In Southern Africa, okay? Out here capping, right? Now hold on. The Anunnaki said that they started genetically altering humans or hominids about 200,000 years after they landed here, which would make it about 250 to 200,000 BC, right? Would have to make it about 200,000 to 250,000 BC. So let's see where mitochondrial, look at this. This woman, known as mitochondrial Eve, lived between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago. Guys, when Sitchin was doing these translations, this information wasn't even public. This information wasn't out, wasn't no internet, wasn't no way to know this unless you were in these scientific, if you was in these archaeological studies. This information wasn't even out like that, okay? So what you're seeing is science is validating everything that the Sumerian tablets is telling us. The Sumerian tablets tell us that Africa was the home of the first man. The Sumerian tablets told us that this genetic alteration of this first man from Homo erectus to Homo sapien started about 200 to 250,000 years ago. Science is validating all of this information. That's the beauty of it. We live on facts. So it shows that her region was South Africa. Again, validating the Anunnaki's version of events. In the Anunnaki's version, the first Adamu and Tiamat had trouble conceiving. When they made the appropriate age of conception, they could not conceive. This caused great frustration to the Anunnaki and it threatened the mining operation. But Nigazita was able to craft a solution to the issue. Do y'all remember what the solution was? What's going on? What's up, Corlisa? What's good, Corlisa? I see Corlisa was saying check the messages. Okay. No problem, my love. Take it easy. Well, listen, Corlisa, class will be backed up to the YouTube, baby. Okay? We'll have it backed up to the YouTube tonight if you miss it. Okay, there we go. Come on with it, Big Dreaming. So the last time we was together, Nigazita crafted the solution to create to make it to where they can procreate. Okay, and that solution, like y'all say, was to add an additional branch, an additional genetic branch to the essence of the hominid. Okay. This was a branch that was probably left out. Let me tell y'all something. Let me say this. I think they left this branch out on purpose, but they didn't know that they was going to need it. Now, there's some sidebar talk, okay? So there's some sidebar talk. I think the Anunnaki knew that they wanted to make a primitive worker. So in order to make a primitive worker, you can't give the primitive worker cognitive ability, cognitive thinking ability, right? Guys, I want y'all to know something. This information is in our genes. This information is reports to our brain. Our brain is a motor, right? Or a computer that inputs data, and it does controls and functions based on what the genes tell it to do. Okay, so I think that they didn't intend to give us this knowledge, but what happened was, let me say this. What happened was, when they weren't able to conceive, they had no choice. The same genetic material that would allow us to procreate and conceive was the same genetic material that allowed us to have cognitive thinking ability. Okay, so they ended up having to give it to us. Not even so much that they wanted to; they had to. It was either that or give up the whole mission. Okay. So, in order to add this branch, genetic material from the rib tissue was inserted into each being from each Anunnaki. Enki's rib material was inserted into the Adamu. Ninma's genetic material was inserted into the Tiamat, giving them 23 branches instead of 22. Okay? So the original Adamu had 22 chromosomes instead of 23. It was the 23rd that created the ability to procreate. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. The number 23 has some significance in occultism. Okay, in occult symbology, the number 23 is very revered and respected. I'm telling you, these numbers got something to do with the symbology of the 23rd chromosome being essential for us to be able to procreate. I know that too, okay? So yeah, she say Jordan. Probably why he ended up with that number, right? So the 23 was the magic number. This is where we get the biblical rib story of Genesis. We all able to see that, right? We all able to see that this is where the biblical rib. So now think about the rib story you got from Genesis. Which one sounds more plausible? Which one sounds more? Hold on, let's talk about it. We finna talk about it. Now, biblically, we were taught that Adam had to give Eve his rib in order for her to live. Put a 1 in the chat if that's what you was taught growing up in the church. If you were taught that Adam had to give Eve her rib in order to live, ladies, I want y'all to listen up. I want y'all to know something. I'm finna tell y'all something real quick. This for my ladies. They've been trying to play y'all. They've been trying to play my sisters the whole time. So, biblically, we were taught that Adam had to give his rib to Eve in order for her to live. Which, if you are not asking questions, could make sense. It could make sense if you're not asking no questions. But it's when you start using your brain, when you start using that brain that God gave you, and you say, how did this work? This thing, let's just deal with the biblical version. So God had to take out Adam's rib and give it to Eve. And y'all ain't see no problem with that. Y'all ain't see no problem. Hold on, wait a minute. You talking about God that created the earth and the sun? That nigga had to come here to do physical surgery on his creation? That's what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that God that created the sun, the stars, the moon, the fucking universe, he ain't have no better way. You telling me he ain't have no better way of doing this but to do physical surgery? Come on, man. Come on, guys. You got to start thinking about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying, bro. This is God. Like, what is God? Like, how do we, like, you would have to imagine God being a dude, a man. Because this is something a man would do. Physical surgery. Okay, let me break it down for you. If Adam was created from God blowing breath into molded clay, and this breath developed brains and organs and everything that's necessary for life, why didn't that same breath be sufficient to create Eve? I'm asking y'all. If God created Adam by breathing breath into clay, that's what the Bible done told y'all. Why wasn't that sufficient for Eve? I'm asking y'all this. Y'all talk to me. Why was that not sufficient? Why not blow the same breath into the right? Cat, right? It's not making sense, man. God don't, let me tell you something. My God is not founded in confusion. If some shit sound confusing to me, it's not founded in the God I serve. So that ain't making no sense right there. That ain't making no sense. All we get is from Adam rib, we get Eve. That's all they gave us. Which, if you know better, looks like man trying to create the narrative that woman owes her existence to him. Did y'all hear what I just said? Y'all remember I told y'all that they've been blaming women from the beginning of time. They've been blaming women, telling women, hey, you made Adam eat the apple. I ain't laughing at the situation. I'm just laughing at how dumb it is. But women have been severely mistreated in a lot of different societies based off of these biblical teachings. Based off of these biblical teachings. So we talking about all women. Not just black women, all women. They use this shit to treat women bad. You know, that's the reason, because you was the original sin against God and all that. Till the Sumerian tablets pop out. And you see it wasn't no goddamn apple that gave us knowledge. If it was an apple that gave us knowledge, a lot of you idiots will have good sense. But that ain't what we see today. Hell, wherever them apples at, we need to go to a Kamala Harris rally and throw them motherfuckers in the crowd. Whatever apple it is that giving motherfuckers knowledge, get them apples over there now. Get them over there now. Somebody show TA. Show this lame to do, whoever this lame person is. We don't know you. You are nobody. We don't nobody here know you. Show this lame out. Go hang out somewhere else. You can go ahead. Get your goof ass out here. You can go talk to yourself. Go talk to yourself outside, goofball. So anyway, it's got to make sense, gang. They've been telling these women all this time, it's your fault. It's your fault. This is why we're going to treat you like this, okay? So watch this shit. So then they created the narrative. Here go men being men again. Watch this. Here go men being men. Watch this. So then they created the narrative that you only exist because of man. Oh, you ain't here if I ain't give my rib. If Adam ain't give his rib to make Eve, you wouldn't even be here. Can't y'all see that? My ladies, y'all see that now, right? Y'all see that they created this narrative so that they can keep you down. Keep telling you, oh, you only here because of me. That ain't the way this shit work, homie. That ain't the way this shit work, homie. That ain't the way it work. It's balance. You need the woman and the man. We both need each other. We both need each other. I don't give a fuck what you say. A man cannot extend his lineage without a woman. One man lives his life. If he ain't got a woman to procreate with, that's the end of it. That's the end of his line. He'll never exist again. So we absolutely need each other. We absolutely need each other. So we got to stop this bullshit, man. We got to throw this dumbass biblical shit away. Stop telling folks, oh, man, Eve ate the apple. Eve made Adam eat the apple, and Eve came from Adam's rib. Throw all of that shit away, man. That came from a time where men were trying to keep women in a subservient position. And you see that today. Go look at the Middle East. Go look at the Middle Eastern region. They can do whatever the hell they want to do to them women. The woman can get beat on, mistreated. She can get anything can get done to her. That ain't right. That ain't right. So all of this is based out of this biblical information, guys. You know what I'm saying? The Bible that everybody love, and because ain't nobody never read that motherfucker. Ain't nobody never read it. That's how you know people ain't read it, because when you start showing people what's in it, they be surprised. So I know you ain't read it. And I'm going to keep decoding the Bible too. On Chief Kuttah 1212 page, I got a series going, Decode the Bible. We're going to keep decoding that motherfucker, showing y'all the truth. So like I say, they got this whole narrative going that woman owes her existence to man. But this was used to oppress women for many years, still is. My God is not founded on confusion, but in clarity. The Bible version leaves us in confusion. I just want to know why Eve wasn't created in the same fashion as Adam. That's all I want to know. Why? If Adam could be molded from the clay and God could blow breath into Adam's body, why wasn't Eve just created the same way? Why the need for surgery? Right? Why the need for, well, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Now, if you look at the Bible's version, you will notice an eerily similar connection to the Tablet's version. Right? Let's take a look at the two and compare. Let's look at the Bible's version of the rib story, and let's look at the Tablet's version of the rib story. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at both versions. Let's look at the Bible's version first. God created Eve from one of Adam's ribs after determining that it was not good for Adam to be alone. God put Adam into a deep sleep. Hold on, let me read it down here. Adam and Eve. Okay, so the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon man, and he slept. And then he took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. So let me ask y'all something. God caused a deep sleep to fall over man, and he took one of his ribs out. Is that not putting somebody to sleep? Is that not the same as putting somebody under anesthesia and doing a surgery on them? Am I tripping, or does that not read like surgery and anesthesia? Give me a 1 in the chat if that sounds like surgery and anesthesia to you. If that sounds like surgery and anesthesia, give me a 1 in the chat. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon man, took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. In the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman and brought her to the man. Think about it. Guys, Lord have mercy. We in the age of Aquarius. Guys. We gotta stop doing this. Okay, so let me say this, man. If God was doing all of this stuff the way we assume, why not just show up and prove it to us? Why not just say, hey, everybody, I'm God, just to make sure all my creation know I'm real and that this is how I exist? God, we could use that. Because this sounds like anesthesia and surgery. It sounds like what a man needs to do as opposed to what a God needs to do. Do you understand? It sounds like a man, understand where I'm going. My version of God don't need to do a surgery. What about yours? Like the God that I serve, I don't imagine my God needing to do a physical surgery. Why? Do y'all understand where I'm going? We talk about the person that created the universe. Why would the entity that created the universe need to perform a physical surgery? Couldn't God just wave its hand and Adam have whatever it need and Eve have? And I don't understand. I don't understand that God needs to do a physical surgery. That'd be like telling me that God got to go fix up his car to drive somewhere. You mean to tell me that God got to fix a car and drive somewhere? That's the exact same thing as telling me that God needs a physical mode of transportation to travel. Right? It's just like when we talk about like UFOs and shit like that, right? We would never worship people coming out of UFOs because we know better. We know that that's a spaceship. We know the God we serve would never travel in a spaceship because why would God need a spaceship? God is beyond all of those modes of travel. God is above all of these physical events. So when you look at this version, like I say, it sounds like somebody was put under anesthesia, made an incision, and sewed him up. Ain't that what y'all hear with this? It clearly says he put Adam in a deep sleep, like under anesthesia, made an incision, and sewed him up. That's what it sounds like, right? So let's go look at the tablets version. Let's look at what the tablets say in comparison. Here we go. They locked the door behind them, the three with the two earthlings alone remaining. Okay, so this is Nigga Zeta just kicked out everybody out the laboratory, out the surgery room, right? And they locked the door behind them, the three with the two earthlings. So you got Adamo and Tiamat, your Adam and Eve. Okay, so you got Adam and Eve, and you got Nigga Zeta, and you got Enki, and you got Ninma. Okay, so let's read. Upon the four, Nigga Zeta, a deep sleep caused. Hold on, here we go. Upon the four, Nigga Zeta, a deep sleep caused them to descend. Okay? Ain't that the same as what the Bible say? Didn't the Bible say that God put Adam under a deep sleep? Except here, they ain't telling you God. They told you Nigga Zeta did it. But if you know that Nigga Zeta becomes a God to these people. Those for the Atlantean, all right? So, upon the four others, Nigga Zeta a deep sleep caused. The four he made unfeeling. Unfeeling is when you are under some kind of anesthesia, when you got some kind of numbing agent. When they put you to sleep, you can't feel nothing, right? When they put you to sleep, you can't feel nothing. Sounds like the same thing that the Bible was telling us, we just never realized. We just now getting intelligent, gang. That's why all of this shit is starting to come alive to us. We just got intelligent over the last 20-some years. So now we're looking at the Bible, we're looking at all of this biblical information with our new intelligent brain. And we started to realize, you know what I'm saying? Class is helping us realize, like, damn, this shit wasn't the way we thought it was. right? Put a 1 in the chat if this class is helping you look at religion in a different format. If this class is helping you looking at religion in a different format, put a 1 in the chat. You starting to see where they got you at, huh? You see where they got you at, huh? You see where they got you at, huh? Yeah, they got you. It was simple. It was very simple, guys. That's why this class is so important, because what I'm able to do is I'm able to show my people how they got us. They took our history, made it their history. They took our history, made it their history, changed the faces, they changed the characters, they changed the names, and changed, just like how they do with the movies. All of the characters, this is based on a true story. The names and the characters have been changed for protection. That's the same shit they did to our history. They took this history is the Anunnaki's history on Earth and ours, because we were their first, we was the first people they dealt with. So they took our history, changed it, white-faced it, and then after our people were enslaved, and our people, and when you go through slavery, I want y'all to know something. The first generation of slaves, they had all of the knowledge. It was passed down. They had it. But they wiped out the first generation of slaves. That's what y'all need to know. It's called buck breaking. What they used to do is they used to take all the mandingos, all the warriors, all the chiefs, and they used to beat them real bad in front of their family. They used to castrate them, beat them. They used to just do them dirty in front of the wife and the little kids. Because psychologically, this is having an effect on the next generation of slaves. So the next generation of slaves is not going to test master, because everybody has seen what master do to those who test him. Okay? So now your people got cut off from their history. Once they buck broke all of the chiefs and the warriors that we had, once they buck broke them and then they started spreading us out, we lost our connection to our lineage and our history. We lost our connection to this information. So by the time a couple generations go by and they start teaching this information, a couple generations go by, now it's time to reteach this information to the people that they stole it from. The only problem is the people that they stole it from don't recognize that it's their information. Do y'all understand that? When they came and they retaught this shit to slaves, the slaves ain't recognized that this was their information. But watch this. It's a reason why black people took to the religion so strong. It's the reason why it connected with them. Okay? So I want y'all to understand that religion connected with us because we knew in our soul, in our spirit, that this was our story. We knew in our soul, in our spirit, that this was our story. Okay? So we connected to it. But we wasn't able to separate master from the story. That's the problem. We wasn't able to look at it and say, hey man, this is our story. They stole it. We looked at it like, this is the story of all people. And master, is teaching us this. This is the way we looked at it. Instead of looking at it like, no, he's teaching you your information. Okay? So they got us all, gang. They got us all this way. And today, we starting to change this around. We want to put an end to this bullshit. We want to put an end to these religious misconceptions. Okay? So that's the whole purpose for this class. And so people can get the truth about what really took place, man. Cause that shit they're giving you in the Bible, guys, that don't add up. I'm telling you right now, guys. You're not gonna tell me that a God went through all this trouble, doing all of this creation, and that's the best explanations we can get is in the Bible. Them the best explanations we can get. The Bible don't tell us what color the first people was, who the first people was. Don't tell us nothing. Don't even tell us no reason. Don't even tell us no reason why this man was being created. And like I told y'all the other day, don't say, oh, because God wanted us to be fruitful and multiply. Well, motherfucker, you can't have, if you got one man and one woman, you can't have but one baby. You can't have, or maybe twins, you can't have but 2 kids at a time. And if you have 2 boys, then what? Like think about this shit, right? I want y'all to understand. If you go with the biblical version of events, you got Adam and Eve, who would be the same genetic makeup, okay, having a child, and then you got to wait till that child grow up. You got to have another baby, wait for that child to grow up, and then you still got 2 children that is genetically related. So how that baby gonna be? If Adam and Eve had Cain, and Cain had a sister, and Cain and his sister had to procreate, what that baby was going to be like? If Cain had to have sex with his sister, what would the baby have been like? Can a sister and brother, can a blood sister and brother, same mama, same daddy, have a child and it not be messed up? Guys, that's all I'm saying. This shit don't make no sense, gang. This shit don't make no sense, gang. They got y'all believing in this shit because for one thing, you never discussed it. You never broke it down. You never discussed it. You never broke it down. See, y'all in church, oh, pull up John 23, chapter 13. You ain't in church discussing it and breaking it down. Now, ask yourself, do that version of events make sense to you? Do that make sense to you? How? Explain. Somebody come up and explain how Adam and Eve, same genetically, this idea of them being fruitful and multiplying, how could that lead to building a civilization with just them 2? You out of your mind if you believe that. You out of your mind if you believe that. So here we go. It's a surgery. It's a surgery game. The Bible, you know what's cool about it? Like the Bible explained it like a surgery too. It just took a brother like Chief Cuttah to say, go back and reread that. It took a brother like Chief Cuttah. It took a brother like Chief Cuttah to come along and say, go back and reread that. No, homie, you messed up. Whoever Journey Johnson is, I know maybe we all messed up. You messed up. The God I serve got me completely in health, intellectually, spiritually. Maybe you messed up. Show that person the door, Journey Johnson. Get the fuck up out of here. Goof ass motherfucker. Motherfuckers will do anything for that biblical story to be true. That shit ain't true. It just ain't true. Y'all religious people been trying to use God as a weapon. Well, why? Let me ask y'all something. You know, religious people trip me out. Y'all forever trying to use God as a weapon. When y'all gonna use God as a weapon against them white folks that put you in slavery? When y'all gonna use God as a weapon against them white folks who got more money and more land than you right now? Huh? When you gonna use God as a weapon against them? When you gonna use God as a weapon against them police who keep unarming the black men? I'm just waiting. Y'all say y'all got God in your pocket. I don't know. Like I say, my God, the God I serve don't work the way the biblical God works. My God don't work how biblical God works. See, y'all got y'all make it like y'all got biblical God on speed dial and he just gonna pop up and have your back. Now, I can't, my God moves the way my God want to move when my God want to move. My God don't come to the rescue like that. My God want me to come to my own rescue. My God want me to learn to do shit for myself. My God want me to save myself. My God want me to protect myself. Not wait. So I don't know who y'all serve, but keep on serving and keep waiting. You mean to tell me that the same God that put this world together in 6 days needed to perform surgery? That's what you're trying to tell me? You gonna tell me that God put this world together in 6 days, but then you gonna tell me he needed to put Adam in a deep sleep, cut his side open, take his rib out, and build Eve from there. No, sound like man is doing this, not God. That sounds like something a man would need to do. A man would need to perform a surgical procedure, not God. Not God, homie. So these two, so the biblical version and the Sumerian tablet versions are similar, except the Sumerian tablets version give us the truth. The Sumerian tablet version say, no, man, this was a surgery. We are master geneticists. We are master physicians. That's who the Anunnaki were. The Anunnaki say, man, this is what we did. We took the genetic material from the rib and we injected the genetic material from the rib into the rib of Adamu. We took the genetic material from the rib of Ninmah and we injected that genetic material into the rib of Tiamat. And this is what gave Adamu and Tiamat the ability to procreate. This is what allowed them to procreate. But it gave them a little bit more than the ability to procreate. Okay? So that 23rd chromosome gave them the ability to think cognitively, to have cognitive thinking ability. It means it enhanced our brain capacity. Okay? So think about this. Now, primates are our closest relative, okay? Primates are our closest relative. What separates us from the primates is cognitive thinking ability. Do y'all understand that? Think about what I just told you. The fucking primates are our closest relative as humans. The thing that separates us from the primates is cognitive thinking ability. And they got a little bit. You got some smart apes out there. They got some that can think, but just on a very low level. So for an ape, if an ape can think on the level of a 5-year-old, that's amazing, right? That's amazing. Whenever they can get them apes, them chimps to do shit that a 5-year-old can do, that's amazing, right? Because that's about as far as they can go. But when we were genetically upgraded, it allowed us to do more. That's what this genetic material allowed the first Homo sapiens to do. It allowed them to increase their thinking capacity, their understanding. This is what created awareness. Okay? So this is where your Eve eating the apple, Adam eating the apple came from. It came from this surgery. This surgery is what created their awareness, their ability to think. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you understand that. This surgery of Enki giving Adamu this rib material is what allowed them to be genetically upgraded. Okay? Gotta ask yourself, here we go again. So which one makes more sense? The genetic material creating cognitive thinking ability, or this story about an apple, Adam eating a fucking apple, and all of a sudden now he know what's going on. Hey, my nigga, I ate that apple today, man. Now I'm finna go play the stock market. That's how Adam was. Ate the apple, my nigga. I think I'm finna go invent something because I ate that apple. Pass the apple. Pass that apple right now, please. Pass that apple right now. I know some folks that need it. No, man, it's time to get up off them kiddie stories. It's time to get up off them kiddie. Let me tell you something. Unintelligent baby brains are going to hold on to these kiddie stories because, like the primate, they don't have a lot of cognitive thinking ability. Okay? baby brains are not that far from the primate. It's crazy how motherfuckers get mad when we say that we evolved from these primates, but y'all still think like the primates. You motherfuckers ain't that far removed from the primates, man. There's a lot of y'all baby brains. There's a lot of them baby brains out there that think just as primitive as the primate. Okay? So we ain't that far removed from them, gang. Because there's people still around here easily fooled, very easily fooled. This new awareness made them aware of their nakedness. Right? So now, like I say, the brain is working working a little bit differently now. So for the first time, they are aware of their nakedness, and it caused them to craft coverings from the vegetation. This new awareness is the origin of the eating of the apple story, where biblically we are told that Eve convinced Adam to eat the forbidden apple. And this apple gave them knowledge and made them aware for the first time they knew of their nakedness. And what the Sumerian tablets say? Huh? Come on with it. So, and you know, when they put on them clothes, the Bible told us that this angered God. We saw Enlil get mad. And we saw Enlil get mad, okay? So once again, we have a narrative where a woman is being blamed for all that is wrong with society. Can y'all see that pattern? That pattern keeps popping up. Women have been severely mistreated based on these teachings, and I tell you, they are far from truth. The Anunnaki's version makes more technical and scientific sense. The Bible version sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon version, right? Then we see Enlil becoming aware of their ability, and the fact that they are no longer nude is what angered him, okay? Enlil, we are told Enlil is walking through the Edin, and Enlil sees that they are no longer naked, and he wants to know what's going on. Why the hell they ain't naked no more? That's when Enki tells him of what had to happen. And Enlil gets pissed off. Y'all remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. Enki tells Enlil, hey man, we had a problem. The humans wasn't procreating, so we had to go back. We had to give them additional genetic essence. Right? And that's when Enlil went crazy. Enlil say, what you doing, bro? Like, bro, you just made these people like us. Why would you make these people like us? Why would you make these people smart like us? You say you was making a primitive worker. Key word, Enki, primitive. Enlil's key word, Enki, primitive. Supposed to be a Lulu. Enki over that motherfucker. Well, you know, everything don't work the way we thought it was going to work. You know what I'm saying? So Enlil was mad about that because now we have some of the abilities that they have. That's one of Enlil's voices. Enlil is also Debo. So he come like a big Debo figure too. But so Enlil was mad about that. He didn't want us to have the same level of ability that the Anunnaki got. So he was so mad about that, he decided to banish them from the Edin. Right? The Edin was comfortable, got fruit everywhere, it's very shaded. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in the hot sun when you're in the Edin, and you by the beach. Right? You by the beach, you by the water, right? So Enlil says, no, y'all got to get the fuck out of here. I don't know where you're going, but you got to get to stepping. Okay? So Enlil kicked them out of the Edin. You know, he was mad. And let's just keep it real. If we're going to keep it a buck, let's just keep it a buck. Enlil was mad because them folks put on clothes. Okay? Enlil was walking around there every day. Now, you know Tiamat was thick. I'm just gonna go and keep it a buck. Y'all want to know? Tiamat was thick. Okay? Enlil enjoyed walking around there and looking. She out there today. He enjoyed going out there taking him a look. You know what I'm saying? So when he see her in an outfit, he was pissed off. Who told her to put on clothes? Adam, come here. You told her to put on clothes, nigga? Why you got on clothes? Enlil probably was a freak. He probably liked to look at Adam too. He probably was looking at Adam. He probably was looking at Adam and Enlil. And Tiamat. So anyway, he banished them. He banished them from the Edin. He tells them to they got to get their ass to work. He say, man, listen, now if y'all able to think like us, then you can go out there and do the work like us. Okay? So that's basically where he was coming. That's basically his mindset was they got to leave, go to the Abzu and work. Okay? But if you remember, Adamu and Tiamat was never meant to work. They were supposed to be the models. Remember, they were supposed to be the models for everybody else. But that's how mad Enlil was. Enlil say, put them to work. So a couple things y'all need to know that's going on. So we got, the humans are able to procreate, okay? But y'all know it's going to take time. Like, let's not act like these motherfuckers gonna hump on each other and out gonna pop children and it's just gonna be that quick. All of this is taking time, okay? So now we've got to get the humans procreating enough to create enough humans to just have enough to do some work, okay? But in the process of waiting for children to come full term and waiting for children to grow up, guess who's going to be growing impatient? The EGG, the workers. Okay? So the workers are going to be growing impatient while they're waiting on these humans to come full term. And this is what's going to lead to the third revolt, or to the event in the Bible when the sons of God come down into the daughters of man. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about that event in the Bible in Genesis, where it talks about the sons of God coming down into the daughters of man. Now, see, if you are not knowledgeable, if you don't know who's being referenced as God, if you don't know who's being referenced as the sons with an S of God, if you don't understand who these people are that's being referenced in this way, you won't know what's going on. Okay? So in true Chief Kuttah fashion, let me let y'all know something. This wasn't no sons of God. These were employees of the Anunnaki who wanted some coochie. Do you hear me? I know preacher ain't gonna tell you that, but that's the truth. These are employees, disgruntled employees of the Anunnaki who decided they were coochie deprived. They say basically they was gonna be like, hey man, everybody else got women. We need to get us some women too, because that's a major concern for men. That was a major, and that makes sense. Like these niggas was like, man, we've been down here for damn near 15,000 years. We need to touch the woman. We want some women. So that's why the sons of God came down into the daughters of man. Yeah, they came, all right. Been down there, been 15,000 big dreaming. Them boys, oh man, them boys on a stretch. And they ain't even screaming celibate. They say, shit, man. Been down here for a whole 15. Run it. All right, let's get to it, gang. So this is what we picking up today with Enki, with Adamu and Tiamat being banished from the Edin. Let's get it. If you are not a course member, make sure you gift in the live just like my people. If you're not gifting the live, we're going to kick you out. I Like I keep telling y'all, feel how you want to feel, but it's a private course for my folks. So don't think you getting away with something just because we letting you hang around. If you not gifting this live, we going to remove you from the live. Trust me. You have no purpose in here. If you ain't supporting the live, you ain't got no purpose in here. It's an even exchange. I teach, my people support the live. So for all these people that know you're not a course member, if you feel yourself getting blocked out, you got blocked out because you wasn't doing this. You wasn't doing this, okay? And if you're not doing this, that's why you got blocked out, okay? Just want to make sure you understand that. You understand that. In the heat of the day, Enlil in the orchard was strolling. The shade he was enjoying. Without expectation, Adamu and Tiamat he encountered. The aprons on their loins he noticed. All right, let me take that back one more time. Give me just a second. In the heat of the day, Enlil in the orchard was strolling. The shade he was enjoying. Without expectation, Adamu and Tiamat he encountered. The aprons on their loins he noticed. What is the meaning of this? Enlil wondered. For explaining, he summoned Enki. The matter of procreation, Enki explained to Enlil. The 7 and 7 had failed. To Enlil he admitted. Ningazita, the life essence, examined an additional combining was needed. Great was Enlil's anger. Furious were his words. The whole thing was not to my liking. For acting as creators, I had opposed. Like I told y'all, okay, once again, this is the Anunnaki acknowledging a creator. Okay, so we can stop calling them gods. That's why Chief Kuttah gets so mad when people be like, oh, the fallen gods. They're not gods. They know who God is. They talk about God, and they know they're not God. So this is Enlil. Enlil say, I was against this. Okay, Enlil say, the last thing I wanted to do is to be here acting like a creator, acting like the creator. He say, I had opposed that. Enki, you told me the being that we need is already here. So you were saying, all we need to do is put our mark on it, thereby primitive workers to fashion. He really let Enki have it. Healing heroines put themselves at risk. Ninmah and Ninki were all in danger. To no avail it was. Your handiwork was a failure, Enki. Now, the last bits of our life essence to these creatures you have given. To be like us in procreation, knowing, perchance our life cycles on them to bestow. Thus did Enlil speak with angry words. Enki, Ninmah, and Ningazita were summoned to pacify Enlil with words. My lord Enlil, Ningazita was saying, knowing for procreation they were giving, the branch of long living to their essence was not. So listen to what he says. He says, so watch this. Remember when I told y'all that the first time around, they deliberately kept that gene out, the gene that they had to go back and put back in? They thought that the intelligence gene, they didn't know that the procreation gene was attached to that. See what I'm saying? So they ended up having to go back and give us the intelligence because of the procreation, okay? And the reason I know this, because they know what gene is what. Ningazita just told Enlil, uncle, we didn't give them the branch of long life. How would he know which branch is long life? Unless he know what branch is what. He knows each genome. He knows what each one does. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He knew. So that's just like he knew that he had to go back, inject it from the rib, and inject it into Adam. Okay? So they knew. So this is him telling Enlil, listen, we didn't give them the tree branch of long life. They're not going to have long lives like us. Okay? Ninmah then spoke up to her brother Enlil. She was saying, what was the choice, my brother, to end it all in failure, Nibiru and doom to face his fate? Or try, and by procreation, let the earthlings the toil undertake? So Ninmah was telling him, hey, what did you want us to do? Just give up and not keep trying? Enlil replied, then let them bleed where they are needed. With anger, Enlil said, to the Abzu, away from the Edin, let them be expelled. Enlil say, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. Get to stepping. Enlil in there like, Martin, get to stepping. To the Abzu, away from the Edin, let them be expelled. So did Enlil decree. From the Edin to the Abzu, Adamu and Tiamat were expelled. In an enclosure among the trees, Enki placed them. To know each other, he left them. With joy did Enki see what Ningazita had come to do. With child, Tiamat was frolicking. Ninmah came to watch the birth giving. A son and a daughter, twins to the earth beings, were born. Did y'all hear that? Adamu and Tiamat had a son and a daughter, twins. With wonderment did Ninmah and Enki watch the newborns. How they grew and developed was a marvel. Days were as months, months to earth years accumulated. By the time Adamu and Tiamat had other sons and daughters, the first ones by themselves were procreating. Before one shar of Nibiru had passed, the earthlings were proliferating. With understanding were the primitive workers endowed. Of commandments they were comprehending. To be with the Anunnaki they were eager. For food rations they toiled well. Okay, so they prayed this first group of earthlings. They paid them in food rations. Okay, so they say for food rations they worked hard. You know what I'm saying? You give them a little bit of food, they gonna work 24 hours straight for you. For food rations they toiled well. Listen to this. Of heat and dust they did not complain. Of back-breaking work they did not grumble. Remember what I told y'all? Remember what I told y'all about the first man? He didn't know what hard work was. He didn't know he was working hard. See what I'm saying? Because he's got no reference. Remember when I asked y'all, imagine what it's like being the first of the first creation, right? You have no reference of anything. You don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. You know, you're gonna have to learn everything from experience, right? For example, if they was to see a fire, they wouldn't know that it's a fire. But if they touched it, they'll know, oh, that's hot. And whatever that shit is, whatever you call that shit, I ain't touching that again. This is how they would have to learn. So they don't come all knowing everything. So like I say, when it came to working hard and doing this stuff, they didn't know that they was working hard. They didn't have no reference to say, hey man, we've been busting our ass. I hope they appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? Had no reference of it. So they didn't complain. That's basically what the Anunnaki telling you. They say of heat and dust, they did not complain. Of back-breaking work, they did not grumble. Of the hardships of the work, the Anunnaki of the Abzu were relieved. The vital goal to Nibiru was coming. Nibiru's atmosphere was slowly healing. Earth mission to the satisfaction of all was proceeding. Among the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came, there was also espousing in procreation. The sons of Enlil and Enki from sisters and half-sisters from healing heroines took spouses. To them on earth, sons and daughters were born. Though by life cycles of Nibiru were they endowed, by earth cycles were they quickened. Who on Nibiru would still be in diapers on earth became a child. Who on Nibiru began to crawl when on earth was born, when on earth born was running around. Special joy there was when to Nanar and Ningal twins were born. A daughter and a son they were. Okay? Nanar is one of Enlil's 3 children. Okay? Enlil got 3 kids, Ninurta, Nanar, and Ishkur. So right now, in the story, they says not only are the early humans procreating, but the Anunnaki are starting to procreate and create families as well. So the sons of Enki and Enlil are starting to marry the Anunnaki nurses. They start to marry, they have sisters and have brothers or whatever, and they starting to have espousals and having kids, okay? So Nanar and his wife Ningal, they brought forth a set of twins, okay? A daughter and a son. So write this down. If you're taking notes, write down Nanar had twins, a daughter and a son, okay? Nanar had twins, a daughter and a son. These twins were Inanna, the girl was named Inanna, and the boy was named Utu, okay? Now, Inanna is a very important character in this story, okay? So you want to know Inanna. Inanna is also Ishtar, from which the Christian religion, the Christian festival of Easter comes from, okay? So Inanna is Ishtar. All right, we're going to talk all about her. We also call her the Ionana. You're going to find out why. She's just a baby right now, but when she get grown, you're going to find out why we call her the Ionana. Okay? So Inanna and Utu, twin brother and sister, children of Nanar. Again, Nanar would be Islam's God, would be the Muslim God Allah. Okay? Or daughter and son they were, Inanna and Utu. By Ningal they were named. With them, a 3rd generation of Anunnaki on earth was present. For the offspring of the leaders, tasks were allocated. Some olden chores were divided. Easier among the offspring they were made. The olden chores, new tasks were added. To the olden chores, new tasks were added. Upon the earth, the warmth was rising. Vegetation flourished. Wild creatures overran the land. The rains were heavier. Rivers were gushing. Abodes needed repairing. Upon the earth, the heat was increasing. The snow-white parts to water was melting. Let me stop right quick. Hey, y'all keep hearing these folks talk about global warming, right? You keep hearing these politicians, especially the Democrats, talking about global warming, right? So they keep telling y'all that humans are creating this global warming. That's bullshit. The planet has always risen in heat. This planet goes through these changes. This planet been around billions of years. If you thinking that humanity could do something to hurt this planet, you out of your goddamn mind. This planet would rid itself of humanity in a minute. It wouldn't take but 1 minute for the planet to rid itself of humanity. If the planet felt like humanity was that much of a problem, we would be gone. Mother Earth would get rid of us, okay? So no, the planet has been going through these changes since its inception. It has always risen in heat. It is always dropping in coldness. These things happen. So don't let these folks tell you that global warming is somehow the cause of us. When we read and right here in the Sumerian tablet, it's happening right during their time, okay? They're telling you right now, during this period, the rains were heavier, rivers were gushing, abodes needed repairing. Upon the earth, heat was increasing. The snow white parts to water were melting. The bars of the seas were not containing the oceans. From the depths of the earth's volcanoes were fire and brimstones belching. The grounds were trembling each time the earth was shaking. In the lower world, the snow white hued place, the earth was grumbling. At the tip of the Abzu, Enki, a place for observing, established. Okay? Listen to that. When they talk about the snow white lands, the lower world, they talking about the ice wall. They talking about Antarctica. All right? If you go to the tip of Africa and you put up a telescope on the furthest tip of Africa, you could see right across the ocean to Antarctica. Or you can see the ice wall, okay? Because it surrounds us, just like we know. So they say at the tip of the Abzu, Enki, a place for observing, established. So that's what they're telling you. They built an observatory at the tip of Cape Horn, okay? So if you know about South Africa, you know that the furthest tip is called Cape Horn, okay? So from there, they set up an observatory to pay close attention to the white lands, all right? The reason why they are paying close attention to the white lands is because if them damn ice sheets keep melting, the water gonna keep rising, and what's gonna happen? A great flood. A great flood, okay? So what they're telling you is the deluge didn't just happen like this. It was a multitude of events that facilitated the great flood, the deluge, okay? It started with this period that they're talking about right now, where the heat was rising on Earth, and the heat was causing the ice sheets to melt, and this was causing the water to rise. This is why they say abodes needed repairing, okay? So this is the beginning of that. We're far away from the great flood, but this is the beginning of it. At the tip of the Abzu, Enki, a place for observing, established. To his son Nergal and his spouse Erishkigal, command thereof he entrusted. Okay, so the observatory in South Africa was given to his son Nergal and his wife Erishkigal. Okay, so Nergal is going to be in charge of that observatory. A thing unknown and untoward thing thereunder is brewing. Nergal to his father Enki said, in the Bruki, the place of the bond heaven earth, Enlil, the heavenly circuits were watching. By the MEs of the tablets, by the MEs of the tablets of destinies, celestial motions he was comparing. There is turmoil in the heavens, Enlil to his brother Enki said. From the planet Mars, the place of the way station, Marduk to Enki, his father, was complaining. Strong winds are disturbing. Annoying dust storms they are raising. So Marduk to his father, Enki, words were beaming. In the asteroid belt, turmoils are occurring. Upon the earth, brimstones from the skies were falling. Pitless demons, havoc causing, violently the earth approached. Into flaming fires in the skies they were bursting. All right, so what's going on right now is asteroids from the asteroid belt is hitting Mars and hitting Earth, okay? Do y'all remember when I told y'all when Alalu blasted his way through the asteroid belt, that was going to cause some trouble down the line? Y'all remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember Alalu using the missiles to blast his way through the asteroid belt. Okay, so what I want y'all to realize is this. Them asteroids had to go somewhere, okay? Them asteroids, once you knock them out of their orbit, they're going to find a new orbit, okay? And they're going to travel that orbit until they're ready to crash. So basically, when he blew through those asteroids, he basically sent a bunch of ticking time bombs out to the universe. And, you know, you didn't know when they was going to land, but you knew they was going to land. And this is what we're dealing with right now. What they call pitless demons. Let me read this again. In the asteroid belt, turmoils are occurring. Upon the earth, brimstones from the skies were falling. Brimstones is the asteroids, okay? Pitless demons, havoc causing, violently they approach the earth, okay? Pitless demons. Into flaming fires in the skies they were bursting, right? We all know an asteroid, as it comes into the atmosphere, is inflamed, okay? In a clear day, darkness they were causing. With storms and evil winds they raged around. Like stony missiles, the earth they were attacking. Kingu, Earth's moon, and Mars, too, by these havocs were afflicted. All of the craters you see on the moon were caused by these asteroids, okay? Some of the big craters that you see on the moon were caused by these asteroids. Mars has a large gash on it that was caused by these asteroids. Let me see if I can find that gas, the gash on Mars. Let me show y'all something right quick. Y'all see this gash? This is a very famous gash on the Mars surface. This thing is the size of the United States. Okay, this thing is huge. So this gash is caused by this episode, by this event that we're reading about right now. Okay, so let me read. Listen to this. Kingu, Earth's moon, and Mars too, by these havocs were afflicted. The faces of all three with countless scars were covered. The faces of all three, Earth, the moon, and Mars. Here go proof of it on Mars. Okay? So again, how would somebody know about this 7,000 years ago? Enlil and Enki to Anu, urgent words to the king they were beaming. Nibiru savants they alerted. The earth and the moon, a calamity are facing. From Nibiru, the savants were responding. Their words, the leaders' hearts were not calming. In the heavens, the family of the sun were taking stations. The celestials, of whom earth is the seventh in a row, were choosing places. In the heavens, Nibiru was approaching. The sun's abode, it was nearing. Okay, so this is, whenever this time period, Nibiru was making its 3,600 year orbit. Now, let me tell y'all something. If I can figure out what time period this was, I probably can figure out when the next time Nibiru is going to be making its travel back into the solar system. So I'm going to have to figure out where we at on the timeline. Because wherever we at on the timeline, if we do 3,600, every 3,600 years from that period, we'll have Nibiru's orbit. Let's see if I can find that tonight. By the 7 in a row arraigned was Nibiru distracted. The path through the asteroid belt was missing. From the asteroid belt, bits and pieces it had been displacing. Beware of the celestial bar. Venus with Mercury near the suns were crouching. In the heavens, Mars, her glorious dwelling place, was abandoning. To quell her, Nibiru from the celestial deep made a deep monster appear. A monster once to pre-Earth's moon belonging. By the celestial battle fashion, from the celestial deep it made its way. By Nibiru was its slumber awakened. From the horizon to the mist of heaven, like a flaming dragon, it was stretched. 1 league was its head. 50 league in length it was. Awesome was its tail. So let me slow down because you need to understand what's going on. Okay. So y'all remember when Enki and them was on their way to the earth, they talked about how Mars had water, how Mars was beautiful, Mars had color. It wasn't at that time, it wasn't the red planet. It had its atmosphere, it had water. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember all that. This is the reason why they put a way station up there. They put a way station up there because it was habitable. You could be there, okay? So gang, I want y'all to know something what you're reading right now. This is the episode in which Mars lost its atmosphere. Okay? So let me try to slow down and explain exactly what's going on. This is the episode in how Mars lost its atmosphere. Okay? This is why it's the red planet now. So, when Nibiru was making its orbit, like if you've been listening, you know that Nibiru was a planet that used to orbit Sirius C. And Sirius C, the star system Sirius C went supernova and it blasted Nibiru out of its normal orbit. Okay? So that put Nibiru on this elongated 3,600-year orbit around its sun. Okay? Very weird for a planet to take 3,600 to orbit its sun, but it got blasted out of its orbit. Okay? So now, every 3,600 years, Nibiru drives down into our solar system. Okay? And when Nibiru drives down into our solar system, all hell breaks loose. Okay? It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Motherfuckers talk about, well, I seen Nibiru. Y'all seen the second sun? That was Nibiru. No, it was not. Because trust me, if it was Nibiru, we would be done. Okay? So when Nibiru comes, it's going to be a real problem. All right? This time, when Nibiru came around, it caused a real problem. Now, in order for me to explain this to you, I got to go off beat a little bit. I got to talk about the Celestial War. I got to talk about the Galactic Federation War. Okay? During the Celestial Battle, the reptilians created a weapon out of a comet. They took a comet and they hauled it out and they turned it into a weapon that they could drive. Please don't ask me how they did this. This is the level that these people on, okay? I need us to use our three-dimensional minds to think outside of our three-dimensional minds and understand that five-dimensional beings have much different abilities than we do, okay? So they had the ability to hull out a fucking comet, an ice comet, okay? They did the same shit with the moon. They turned the moon into a ship too. The moon is hulled out. It's hollow in the inside. Anyway, the reptilians made this ice comet into a weapon. This ice comet was used to attack the planet Maldek. There used to be a planet called Maldek that used to exist in their part of the solar system. Okay? They drove the ice comet into Maldek and it blew Maldek to pieces. Kind of like when the Nibiru's moon hit Earth and blew Earth into pieces, into, one half and the other half into pieces. Well, the same thing happened with Maldek, except Maldek got completely obliterated. Okay? So the planet Maldek got completely obliterated, but it became what we know as the Kuiper Belt. Okay? So we got two asteroid belts. We got our asteroid belt, which was caused by Nibiru's moon hitting Earth and creating that. And then we got the Kuiper Belt, which was caused by the ice comet being driven into the planet Maldek. All right? Now, this ice comet still was existing out in the orbit. It was just floating in orbit. It was just out there, okay? Until good old Nibiru came around at this time. So when Nibiru came around this time, guess what it did? Guess what Nibiru did when it came around this time? You remember when we was kids and we used to be playing kickball or something, and the ball get caught up in a tree and we got to go shake that tree to get the ball out? Y'all remember that? That's kind of like what Nibiru did to this ice comet. You understand? Nibiru came around and shook the tree, and the ice comet fell out. Okay? So now this motherfucker is active. Now this ice comet is active. This ice comet is so huge, it's the size of it's actually a planet. And y'all finna find out where we get this planet from. Check this out. Venus did not exist in our solar system up until this point. This is the creation of Venus. This is the episode where Mars loses his atmosphere, and this is the creation of the planet Venus. Venus did not exist in our solar system until this happened. Check this out. So this ice comet is knocked into it's basically knocked into a crazy it basically launched the ice comet. Let's say that instead of saying it went to an orbit, this Nibiru launched this ice comet, right? This ice comet came right by Mars, came close enough to Mars to basically wipe its atmosphere, wipe its waters and oceans off the planet, okay? So if you want an example of how this can happen, imagine if a really big train is coming by you at the speed of light, right? Maybe not the speed of light. Maybe it's just moving at Mach 5. Maybe let's just say Mach 5. Let's not be so dramatic and say the speed of light. But let's say a train is moving by you at Mach 5 and you got a bucket of water. Well, that train is moving so fast, the velocity from that train, the pressure, the wind from that train is going to blow all of that water out of that bucket. It's going to blow your ass down too. So just imagine if a fast planet, y'all understand what I'm saying? So now put your mind around a planet blowing by another planet, coming this close to another planet. What it's going to do? Everything off of that planet going to get lifted. So it lifted off the water. It lifted off the atmosphere. Everything got lifted from the planet. That's why the planet look buck naked bare now. Okay? So this ice coming went by Mars, stripped Mars of its atmosphere, right? It also damaged the moon, right? Did damage to the moon. But then it kept going. It just missed Earth, thank God. But it did cause Earth, to have some issues. But it just missed Earth. And it went down. All right, so here we go. Check this out. So this planet, like I say, it went by Mars. Here go Mars right here, gang. It went by Mars. And then it landed right here by the sun. Okay? And it became what we know today as Venus. Venus is basically the ice comet, okay? Check this out. You know how we know that this story is true? Because this celestial body was made of ice, solid ice, a lot of ice. Think a mountain of ice. Think a world of ice, right? So watch this. You can't just, this is a big ball of ice. So if you put a big ball of ice next to the sun, what's going to happen? If you put a big ball of ice next to the sun, what's going to happen, gang? Evaporation, right? Melting, evaporation, right? We all know about evaporation, right? Becomes gas. When this heat is hitting this ice, it's creating evaporation, right? It's creating a gas state, okay? It's making whatever this ice comet was, whatever it is at its core, it's creating a gas state, okay? Well, guess what Venus is, guys? A gaseous planet. It's all gas. Go do your research on Venus. Venus, when you go do your research on Venus, you're going to see that it's all vapor and gas. And the reason for this, because it was a former ice comet that was melted by the sun. And when the sun melted all of that ice, a planet's worth of ice, when it melted a planet's worth of ice off, all that was left was the never-ending evaporation. Okay? So do your research on Venus to understand where I'm coming from when I'm telling you that Venus is a former ice comet, which was a weapon used by the reptilians, which was no longer in commission, but it got deactivated when the Nibiru passed by it and knocked it into this position. Okay, I know that's complex, guys, but if you hang with me long enough, all of this shit gonna make sense. I swear to God. Hang with me long enough, and you know, the cosmos, man, it's gonna make sense. Okay, this is my next home, baby. I'm headed out to the celestials, man. I'm not staying on ghetto ass Earth. I gotta get out of here. Earth and got too ghetto. Y'all trying to go to Dubai. I'm trying to go to Beta Lyrae. All right. I'm trying to go to Andromeda. All right. Who with me? Who gonna take that trip? If a mothership show up right now, if a mothership show up and they say, hey man, this planet gonna be gone in the next 40 years, right? Just check this out. Let's say a mothership shows up and the mothership say, hey, this planet gonna be gone in the next 40 years. You can leave now or you can wait for the destruction. I'm gone. Gone. I'm walking up that mothership with my J's, with all my outfits, with my Cuban. I'm gone. Shit. I swear to God, I would leave Earth, man. If I had the opportunity to travel to another world, to see another world, I would absolutely leave Earth. If I could take my family. Bro, this shit played out, bro. This shit played out down here. I want to go see the cosmos. Okay? So here we go. So listen, I had to explain all that for y'all to understand what's going on right now. Okay? So let me read all this again so we can understand what we're dealing with. A monster wants to pre-Earth's moon belonging by the celestial battle fashion. Listen to this. Didn't I just tell y'all? I just told y'all the ice comet came from the Galactic Federation War, right? Listen to what they say. Hold on. This is what they say about the ice comet. Listen to this. They say to quell her, Nibiru from the celestial made a deep... Hold on. To quell her, Nibiru from the celestial deep made a monstrous demon appear. Okay? To quell her, Nibiru from the celestial deep, they talking about Nibiru coming around in his 3,600-year orbit. It made a monstrous demon appear. The monstrous demon is the ice comet. Listen. Made a monstrous demon appear. A monster wants to pre-Earth's moon belonging by the celestial battle fashion. Okay? So they say that this ice comet was fashioned by the celestial battle or for the celestial battle. Okay? From the celestial deep, it made its way. By Nibiru was it awakened from its slumber. So it was sleep. And then Nibiru came by and shook the tree, like I told you. From horizon to the midst of heaven, like a flaming dragon, it was stretched. Like a flaming dragon. Y'all ever seen a comet streaking through the sky? Have y'all ever seen a comet streaking through the sky? Put a 1. Ain't it like a flaming dragon? Okay, listen. 1 league was its head. 50 league in length was its awesome tail. Had a tail, right? We all know comets got a tail, right? Got an ice tail, right? Be trails of ice and shit coming off of it. That's another thing. We know comets are practically ice because they be, you know, trails of ice and bits of ice. Just like I'm telling you guys, man, listen, these folks bless me with this information. But I'm telling you right now, ain't no cap in my rap. This shit real. Okay? We 3D beings trying to understand a 5-dimensional story. So in order to hang out with me, you got to level up. Okay? You got to level up if you're going to be up in here with us. Because we no longer 3D beings. We in 4D now. If y'all don't know it, we done leveled up to 4D. Our understanding is different. Okay? So yeah, this was a comet, guys, and this comet became the planet Venus. Okay? By the day, the skies of earth it darkened. By night, upon the face of the moon, a spell of darkness it cast. The dragon was on its way to becoming Venus. To intercept the dragon in the path, the moon was making haste. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I said that wrong. Time out. The ice comet don't become Venus, it lands on Venus. So the ice comet lands on Venus and the sun melts it, and that's what creates the gaseous clouds. Okay, I kind of tripped up. I said it became Venus, but it lands on Venus and makes Venus the gas giant that we know it is today, or the gas planet that we know it to be today. All right. Fierce was the encounter. A tempest of clouds upon Kingu was raised. By its foundation was Kingu shaken. From the impact did the moon quake and shake. The heavenly havoc was calm. Nibiru to its distant abode in the deep was returning. Venus, its dwelling place, did not abandon. The stony missiles upon the earth and Mars ceased their raining. Enki and Enlil with Marduk and Ninurta gathered, a surveying of the havoc they undertook. The foundations of the earth Enki surveyed. Of what its platforms had befallen he examined. So what they telling you is this is a period in time where this ice comet caused all kind of calamity, okay? Caused the earth to experience some setbacks, the moon as well as Mars. The depths of the oceans he measured. In earth's far corners, the mountains of gold and copper he scanned. Of the vital gold, there would be no shortage, Enki was saying. In the Edin, Ninurta was the surveyor, where mountains trembled and valleys shook. In his skyship, he soared and journeyed. The landing platform was intact. In the valleys of the north, the earth fiery liquids was pouring. Ninurta was telling his father Enlil sulfuric mist and bitumens he was discovering. On Mars, the atmosphere was damaged. Y'all hear that? On Mars, the atmosphere was damaged. Dust storms were with life and interfering with work. So Marduk to Enki was saying, "To Earth I wish to return, father," he disclosed. So as a result of Mars going through that calamity, Marduk called Enki and said, "Hey man, I got to come back to Earth, dog. It ain't good no more up here. We ain't good up here no more, okay?" Enlil to his olden plans betook himself. What cities in their task he planned he reconsidered. A chariot place in the Edin must be established, to the others he was saying. The olden designs of the layout on the crystal tablet to them he showed. The olden designs of the layout on the crystal tablet he showed. Okay? Just make sure you understand their technology. They got crystal flat screens. Okay? The conveying from the landing place to the way station on Mars is no longer certain. To soar toward Nibiru from Earth, we must be able. So was Enlil to them saying. Okay, so listen. Mars is done. They can't use Mars no more. So they say we need to have a way to go from from Earth to Nibiru. We need to have a way from going from Earth to Nibiru. Stargate loading. This was the first initial conversation before they created stargates. It's coming. Okay? So when they no longer had the way station to soar toward Nibiru from Earth, we must be able, so was Enlil to them saying. For the count since the first splashdown, the count of 80 shars it was. Okay, there we go. We got a date. 80 shars. Let's do some math real quick. Let's see where we at. Let's see where we at, folks. 80 shars. If you can do the math faster than me, by all means, get it done. So we got 80 shars, 80 times 3,600, 288,000 years minus 450. So let's do 450,000 minus 288,000. 162,000 BC. Guess what time it is, gang? It's time to pull out the timeline, baby. Who got their timeline, man? Who got their timeline on deck? Time to pull out the timeline. Where the hell is my timeline? Sheesh. Where is my timeline? Here we go. Let's pull out the timeline. And for all my new students, you're going to get a copy of this timeline as well. I have a comprehensive timeline of human history that goes back 4 billion years, okay? So we've got the scientific timeline and we've got the Anunnaki timeline, okay? So at some point I'll explain to y'all the difference, okay? But everybody's going to get one of these timelines that we use. So we're about, what we say? What did I say? 162,000 BC or something like that? Yeah, I think 162,000 BC. You got 132? Hold on, do the math again. 80, he says 80 shars. 80 times 3,600. So that should give you 288. Then minus that from 450. So if you go 450,000 minus 288, you should get like 162 or something like that. Yeah, 162,000 BC. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this out. So we at 162 BC. Give me just a second because I want to see something right quick. Yeah, this timeline that I got goes back 4.6 billion years, okay? So what I want y'all to know is we got the real timeline, the scientific timeline to human history. It goes back to 4.6 billion years. It starts with the Precambrian eon, and it goes all the way up until the time of Christ, okay? So we got the scientific timeline and we got the Anunnaki timeline. Everybody that has taken the class is going to receive this timeline, but it is a very complex timeline. You got to understand how to read it. So, but everybody's going to receive one. So let's go back. Let's see, we 162,000 BC. Okay. So 162, I'm going to have to figure that out tonight. So let me write that down. 162,000. How many 3,600 periods have there been? Little work I got to do tonight. Little study notes for me tonight. All right, 162,000 BC is where we at on the timeline. All right. They say for the count since the first splashdown, the count of 80 shars it was. Now this is the account of the journey to the moon by Enki and Marduk, and how Enki, the three ways of heaven and the constellations determine. Let the place of the chariots near Bad Tibera, the metal city, be established. From there, let the gold from earth to Nibiru in the chariots directly be carried. So Ninurta of Bad Tibera, the commander, to them words were saying. Enlil, to the words of Ninurta, his son, gave heed. Of his son's wisdom he was proud. To Anu the king, Enlil quickly conveyed the plans. To him, these words he were saying. Let a place of celestial chariots in the Edin be established. Near the place where the gold ores are smelted and refined, let it be built. Let the pure gold in the chariots directly from earth to Nibiru be carried. Directly to earth from Nibiru, let heroes and supplies be coming. Of great merit is the plan of my brother, Enki to their father Anu was saying. A great disadvantage in its core is it holding. The net pool of earth is much greater than that of Mars. To overcome it, our powers shall be exhausted. Before there is a rush to deciding, let us examine an alternative. Nearby, the earth has a companion. It has the moon. Smaller is its net pool. Ascent and descent a little effort will require. Let us as a way station consider. Let me and Marduk there to journey. The two plans I knew the king before counselors and savants were considering. Let the moon be examined first, the king they advised. Let the moon first be examined, Anu to Enki and Enlil being the decision. Enki was greatly joyed. The moon to him was always alluring. So let me make sure y'all understand something right quick. So you say you got 45, you say you got 45 cycles out of that? Okay, cool. We're going to look into that. We're going to see what kind of stuff happened on the earth during those cycles. We're going to go and go through the cycles and see. Because every time when it makes its orbit, it doesn't make the same orbit every time, but we're going to see what we can find within those 45 cycles. Because I'm sure. Now, one of the cycles, of course, is the Great Flood. So I want you to know off top, we know that Nibiru caused the Great Flood, but we're going to see what else it didn't cause in that time period. So what's going on right now is Enlil is saying he wants his son to build the new, Enlil wants his son, Ninurta, to be in charge of building a new way station, okay? This is just a dad. This is just a dad want his son to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? And Enki has another idea. Enki says we need to go take a look at the moon. Perchance we can use the moon as a way station, right? So Anu decided I want to go look at the moon too. Okay. So he told Enlil, let your brother go to the moon. And let's see what we can find. Let's see if we can build a way station on the moon. If not, we'll go with your way. Okay? So that's what's going on right now. So Marduk and Enki is about to take a father-son trip to the moon. How awesome is that? How awesome of a trip would that be to take with your dad? Marduk and Enki is about to travel to the moon. Now, on the moon is where he creates the constellation sciences. All this stuff that we know about the constellations today came from our brother Enki, okay? So him and Marduk is about to make that trip. Enki was greatly joyed. The moon to him was always alluring. Whether somewhere waters it is hiding, what atmosphere it possesses, he always did wonder. In sleepless nights, its silvery cool disk with bewitchment he observed. Its waxing and waning, a game with the sun played, a wonder of wonders he deemed it. What secrets from the beginning it held, he wished to uncover. In a rocket ship did Enki and Marduk to the moon journey. Thrice the earth's companion encircled. The deep wound by the dragon caused, they observed. Right? So they talking about from that ice comet, from the pitless demons or whatever. They says thrice the earth's companion encircled. The deep wound by the dragon caused, they observed. So they could see the large craters on the moon. By many hollows, the handiwork of smashing demons was the moon's face marked. In a place of rolling hills, they set the rocket ship down. In its midst, they landed. From the place, they could observe the earth in the expanse of the heavens. Eagles' helmets they had to don. The atmosphere for breathing was insufficient. Okay, so this, I guess the moon might have lost its atmosphere at the same time Mars lost its atmosphere. Okay. With ease, they walked about. In this way, in that way they went. The evil dragon's handiwork was dryness and desolation. Unlike Mars, it is. For a way station, it is unsuitable, to his father Marduk was saying. Okay, so they already realized that the moon wasn't going to be used. They couldn't use the moon because it has no atmosphere. Okay, somebody did something up there. Let us abandon this place. Let us return to earth. Do not be hasty, my son. So was Enki to Marduk saying. Are you not by the celestial dance of the earth and moon and sun enchanted? So this is Enki telling his son, hey, before we run back to earth, let's study the moon. Let's study the dance of the moon and the sun and earth. Let's study the orbits, okay? We already up here on the goddamn moon. Let's not just turn around and go back to earth, right? Enki said, let's study a little bit. Unobstructed from here is the viewing. The quarter of the sun is at hand. The earth in the void by nothing is hanging. With our instruments, we can scan the distant heavens. The handiwork of the creator of all in this solitude we can admire. Once again, they are acknowledging God. Okay? Listen, guys, they just told you. The handiwork of the creator of all in this solitude we can admire. Okay? I got you, Jay Swing. So I don't understand if that's how you know. Let me tell you something. That's how you also know when people speak on the Anunnaki and they call them the fallen angels and all of this shit. That's how you know that they haven't been studying this information. The Anunnaki clearly tell you that they recognize God, that they know who God is, that they acknowledge a God, right? But somehow, some way, the baby brains, the handiwork of the creator of all, in this solitude we can admire. Let us stay. The circuits observe how the moon circles the earth, how the earth, its circuits around the sun is making. So Enki, by the sights agitated to his son Marduk was saying. By his father's words, Marduk was persuaded. In the rocket ships they made their dwelling. For 1 circuit of earth, for 3 circuits on the moon, they remained. Okay, so 1 circuit on earth, 3 circuits on the moon. 1 circuit on earth is, that's a year. 3 circuits on the moon, they was there for a year and 3 months. Okay? So they camped out on the moon for a year and 3 months. For 1 circuit of earth, you know that earth takes 365 days to circle the sun, and the moon takes 28 days to circle the earth. Okay? So that would be 1 year and 3 months. Its motions about the earth they measured. The duration of a month they calculated. Okay? So this is where we get the creation of the month from. Okay? The month is called the month because it's based on the moon. And the actual pronunciation is month. Okay? Let me read that to you again. Month is the actual pronunciation. It says, its motions about the earth they measured. The duration of a month they calculated. Okay? So they was able to calculate that it makes that it travels around the earth 28 days, and they called that a moon, a month, okay? For 6 circuits of earth, for 12 circuits about the sun, earth's year, they measure, okay? So that's how they measure the earth year. For 12 circuits about the sun, earth's year they measured, okay? So they was able to measure the earth's year. They was able to create the earth's year by measuring the amount of times the moon circled the earth while the earth circled the sun, okay? And that's 12 times. So where we get the 12 months from. Then to the sun's quarter, they gave attention. The path of Mercury and Venus, they also studied. With the earth, the moon, Mars, and sun's second quarter constituted, 6 were the celestials of the lower waters. Y'all remember when I told y'all that? Hold on. Here go the celestials of the lower waters. 6 were the celestials of the lower waters. Venus, Mars, Mercury. You got Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth. I think they count the sun and the moon too. And the sun and the moon. And 6 were the upper celestials of the upper waters beyond the bar of the air. Oh, here we go, gang. Let's do it. Come on, gang. Let's do it. Here go your upper waters and your lower waters. Okay, your so-called firmament discussion. Didn't I tell y'all where the real firmament was at? So let's do it. Let's do it. Six were the celestials of the lower waters. All right? The 6 were the celestial of the lower waters. We got Mercury, Mars, Earth, Venus, the moon, and the sun. Those are your 6 celestial of the lower waters. Now let's go look at the upper celestials. Let's go look at the upper. Let's look at the upper celestials. Hold on. All right, here go the upper celestials, okay? The 6 of the upper celestials. You got Neptune. You got Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, Pluto. Who else we got up in here? 1, 2, 3. Check it out. 6 were the upper celestial, were the celestials of the upper waters, beyond the bar, the asteroid belt. Huh? Hold on. Ain't these planets beyond the asteroid belt? Here's the Kuiper belt. The Kuiper belt protects the 6 celestial the upper celestial bodies from the Beta Lyrae system. And our asteroid belts separates the 6 celestial from the lower 6 celestial, okay? So we all know that the asteroid belt is right here. Here's the 6 celestial bodies, okay? They were Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Nibiru. Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto, and Nibiru, okay? These were the 6 others. 12 were they in all. Of the 12 did the sun and his family make the count. Of the upheavals, most recent, Marduk of his father was inquiring. Why have 7 celestials in a row taken place? So he was asking his father. So Marduk asked his dad, why have 7 planets lined up in a row? Guys, we just seen this happen a couple years ago. Y'all remember the Great Alignment? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember when the celestial bodies all aligned, the Great Alignment. When Mars, Earth, Venus, all these planets lined up in a row a couple years ago. Probably like maybe a year or 2 ago, we had the Great Alignment. Okay, y'all remember that? Do your research. It was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time. I got pictures of it. I got pictures of the Great Alignment. So that alignment was happening at this time. Okay? So Marduk was on the moon witnessing the Great Alignment. Okay? I think we was in class. I think this might have been semester 2. I think we were in class doing the Great Alignment. And it was so cool because we was like, damn, that just happened. And Marduk is talking about when it happened in that time period. Okay? So we thought that was cool. Yes, Miss Kim, yep. Why have 7 celestials in a row taking place? So he was asking his father. Their circuits about the sun, Enki then considered. Their grand band around the sun, their progenitor, Enki carefully observed. Their positions of earth and moon therein on a chart Enki marked out. By the motions of Nibiru, of the sun, not a descendant, the width of the great band he outlined. The way of Anu, the king, to name it, Enki decided. By the motions of Nibiru, the width of the great band he outlined. The way of Anu, the king, to name it, Enki decided. Okay? So, Nibiru's orbit, the way it travels, they named that the way of Anu. Okay? That's how they labeled it. So Nibiru's orbit was called the way of Anu. By their proximities and groupings was Enki fascinated. By the circuit of the heavens from horizon to horizon, he drew image of 12 constellations. Here we go. By the circuit of the heavens from horizon to horizon, he drew images of 12 constellations. In the great band, the way of Anu, 1 each with the sun's family of 12 he paired. To each one he designated a station. By names they were to be called. These the zodiacs. He's designing the zodiacs. Then in the heavens, below the way of Anu, whence Nibiru is approaching, a band-like way he designed. The way of Enki he designated it. To it, 12 constellations by their shapes he also allotted. The heaven above, the way of Anu, the upper tier, the way of Enlil, he called. Thereinto the stars into 12 constellations he assembled. So I know it'd be a lot of people talking about the zodiac. Let me make sure y'all understand something. Please stop listening to these hood rats talk about signs, okay? I get tired of these hood rats talking about what your sign is. Oh, you a Capricorn? Ugh, stay away from me. Listen, let me make sure y'all understand something. That dumb shit ain't got nothing to do with the zodiacs. Okay? The constellation science is about the measurement. It's about measuring the distance of the sun in relative nature to the planet's orbit. So basically, they're measuring like where the sun is shining during these planetary orbits. Okay, so if the sun is shining in Orion, there's a level of I'm trying to see how I can word this. There's energies that's associated with the sun when it's in specific houses. Okay. So if the sun's light is in the house of Orion, then there's certain energies that's connected to people that's born at that time. Okay. Now, that does not affect who you are as a person. Okay, it says a lot about more or less of your gifts, your talents. Certain things you're going to be stronger at, certain things you're not going to be so strong at, depending on when you was born, right? It doesn't mean that if you were born during Capricorn that you're going to be a dick, okay? Got nothing to do with that. So please stop blaming people's personal behaviors on their zodiac sign. It has nothing to do with that. Okay? It's a very complex science, and you have to do your research if you want to understand it. Okay? But depending on where the sun was located when you were born, will tell you what type of gifts and abilities that you are aligned with. Okay? So it has nothing to do with who you are as a person. It's more about the gifts and the abilities that's assigned to your star. Okay? So I'll do a class and we'll get a little bit deeper into that, but please stop judging people by their sign. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm an Aries. And I don't know who Aries you know, but they ain't nothing like me. Okay? So this idea that all Aries act alike, no, we don't. It's some bum-ass Aries out here too. It's some bum, broke, confused Aries out here too, but there's also some that's winning. And some that's smart, intelligent, and wise. So no, we do not go around claiming everybody that's an Aries. That's all I'm telling you. All Aries ain't the same. All Geminis ain't the same. All Capricorns ain't the same. That is not how it works. All right? All right, let's go and get this thing. Let's wrap it up for the day. 36 were the stars' constellation. In 3 ways were they located. So will the Earth's position designated as around the sun it travels. The start of the cycle of the celestial time, was the measure. Enki to Marduk indicated. When on Earth I had arrived, the station that was ending by me was the station of the fishes. okay, which we call Pisces today, okay? So Enki said when he arrived, the station of the fishes were ending. The one that followed after my name title, he of the water I called. So Enki, with satisfaction and pride to his son, Marduk was saying, your wisdom the heavens embraces. Your teachings, any own understanding extend. But on earth and on Nibiru, knowledge and rulership are separated. So did Marduk to his father say. My son, what is it that you don't know? What is it that you are missing? To him, Enki was saying. The secrets of the heavens, the secrets of the earth with you I have shared. At last, my father, Marduk was saying, there was agony in his voice. When the Anunnaki and the Abzu, the toil ceased in the primitive worker you set to fashion, not my mother, but Ninmah, the mother of Ninurta, to assist you was summoned. Not I, but Ningazita of me, the younger, to help you was invited. Okay, so if y'all don't know what's going on, this is Marduk complaining to his father, okay? Marduk is complaining to his father that, listen, Dad, you very smart. You got a lot of wisdom. But they've been messing over you, okay? This is what Marduk is saying to Dad. He's saying, listen, you very smart, Dad, but I feel like your father and your brother is messing over you, is taking advantage of you. And now he's lamenting about all these times where he felt like either he was disappointed with his father or he was disappointed with how somebody treated his father, okay? So he says, not I, but Ningazita of me, the younger, to help you was invited. So he's basically just complaining. With them, not with me, your knowledge of life and death did you share. My son, Enki to Marduk responded, to you command was given of the Igigi and Mars to be supreme. So basically Enki came back and said, God damn, nigga, we gave you a whole planet. Right? We gave you a planet to run. We gave you a crew to run, and you still, like, unsatisfied? Okay? This is the beginning of why we don't like Marduk. Marduk is going to always be complaining, right? Alas, my father, to him Marduk was saying, of supremacy by fate we are deprived. You, my father, are our news firstborn. Yet Enlil, not you, is the legal heir. Okay, so this a son trying to get in his dad's head. He say, Dad, you know, you are Nu's firstborn. You supposed to be the king, right? But we all know Enki mama is a concubine thought, okay? And you know you can't ascend to the throne if you a concubine thought. If your mama was a concubine thought, you, my father, are Anu's firstborn. Yet Enlil, not you, is the legal heir. You, my father, were the first to splash down and establish Eridu. Yet Eridu is in Enlil's domain. Yours is in the distant, funky-ass, hot Absu. Okay? So Marduk is basically just running all of this stuff down to Enki. He like, hey, man, you was the one that built this, Dad. Right? You the one that established Eridu. But yet they're going to take it from you and give it to Enlil. And they're going to give you the hot, must-ass Absu. Right? This is what Marduk is saying to his dad. I am your firstborn. By your legitimate spouse on Nibiru, I was born. Yet the gold in the city of Ninurta is a symbol. Therefrom to sin or to withhold. So I want y'all to understand this is the beginnings of the battles. Okay? This is Marduk being jealous of his cousin and his uncle. Okay? Marduk is basically saying, nah, Dad, you supposed to be the king. And why is Ninurta holding all the gold? I should be the one holding the gold, right? The survival of Nibiru is in his hands. In my hands, it is not. Now to earth we are returning. What will my task be? Am I to fame and kingship fated, or again to be humiliated? In silence did Enki embrace his son. On the desolate moon, to him he made a promise. Of that of which I have been deprived, your future lot shall be. Okay? So right now, 162,000 BC, Enki is telling Marduk, even though I got deprived, you will not get deprived. Okay? So this is the promise that Enki is making to Marduk. I'm going to make sure you get to be king. Right? They cheated me out of the throne, but I'm going to make sure you get to be king. He's telling Marduk, your celestial time will come. A station yours adjoining mine shall be. Now this is the account of Sipar, the place of chariots in the Edin, and how the primitive workers to the Edin were returned. For many circuits of the earth from the earth were father and son absent. On earth, no plans were implemented. On Mars, the Igigi were in turmoil. Enlil to Anu secret words conveyed. His concerns to Anu from Nibruki he beamed. Enki and Marduk to the moon have been gone. For countless circuits they are there staying. Their doings a mystery. What they are scheming is not known. So this is Enlil calling daddy like a bitch, okay? Listen to what I'm telling you, because like y'all got to remember these brothers. This is going to be a sibling rivalry. This is going to turn into a war. Sibling rivalry is going to become a war, okay? So Enlil is picking up the phone, calling Anu to snitch on Enki. Hey, man. Hey, dad. Enki been gone for a long time. He ain't even down here doing his work. I don't know what they doing on the moon. Okay? Marduk, the way station on Mars, has abandoned. The Igigi are agog. Okay, so this is Enlil ratting on his brother and his nephew. By dust storms has the way station been affected. What damage there is to us is not known. The place of the chariots in the Edin must be established. From there, the gold directly from Earth to Nibiru to be carried. No way station on Mars shall henceforth be needed. The plan of Ninurta it is. Great in these matters is his understanding. So this is, like I say, Enlil calling Anu, telling Anu, hey, Enki and them been gone. He not taking care of business. Dad, you need to go and let me build a way station in the Edin. Okay, let my son Ninurta handle everything. Don't even worry about Enki and his son. Okay? Let him the place of the chariots near Ber Tibera established. Let Ninurta be its first commander. Anu to the words of Enlil gave much consideration. To Enlil he gave this response. Enki and Marduk to earth are returning. What about the moon they have found? Let us first to their words listen. From the moon, Enki and Marduk departed. To the earth they did return. So Anu told Enlil, let's at least hear what Enki and Marduk got to say about using the moon before we proceed. Of conditions their own, they gave an account. A way station is unfeasible now, so they reported. Let the place of the chariots be built, Anu was saying. Let Marduk be its commander, Enki was saying to Anu. The task is for Ninurta, set aside, Enlil with anger shouted. So when Enki told Anu that we're not going to be able to use the moon, Enki says, okay, let the place of the celestial chariots be built in the Edin, right? But Enki told Anu to let his son be the commander, okay? So Enki is telling Anu, let my son be the commander of the celestial chariot, the new place, right? Enlil steps up and says, my son will be the commander. It is already it is already decreed that my son will be the commander. So you got two brothers fighting over which son is going to be the commander of this new facility. The task is for the nerd to set aside. Enlil with anger shouted. For the Ijiji, command is no more needed. Of the task, Marduk has the knowledge. Of the gateway to heaven, let Marduk be in charge. So did Enki to his father say. I knew the matter would concern contemplated. Rivalries now the sons have affected. With wisdom was I new endowed. With wisdom were his decisions. The place of the chariots for new ways, the gold to handle is designated. Let us, what henceforth comes in the hands of a new generation, place. Neither Enlil nor Enki, nor Ninurta, nor Marduk in command shall be. Let the third generation undertake responsibility. Let Utu be the commander. Let the place of the celestial chariots be built. Let Sipar, Bird City, be its name. Okay? So Anu was very smart. Anu says, you know what? I'm not gonna give it to neither one of y'all. I'm gonna let one of my grandchildren. I'm gonna let one of my great grandchildren be the commander. And this is so that it could quell the infighting. Okay? Because there's a lot of infighting going on at this time. This was the word of Anu. Unalterable was the word of the king. In the 81st Shar was the construction started. The plans of Enlil it followed. Nabruki in the center, a navel of the earth by Enlil it was designated. As on circles by their place in distances, the olden cities were located. Like an arrow from the lower sea toward the mountains pointing, they were arrayed. A line on the twin peaks of Arata to the skies in the north reaching he drew. Where the pointing arrow, where the arrow pointing the Arata line intersected. The place for Sipar, the earth's place of the chariots, he marked out. To it, the arrow directly led. From the Bruki was an equal circle precisely located. Ingenious was the plan. By its precision, all were made to wonder. In the 82nd Shar was the construction of Sipar completed. To the hero Utu of Enlil, the grandson, its command was given. An eagle's helmet for him was fashioned. With eagle's wings was he decorated. In the first chariot from the Biru to Sipar, Anu was traveling. In the first chariot, hold on. In the first chariot from the, I don't know why this shit keep pausing. In the first chariot from the Biru to Sipar, Anu was directly traveling. To view for himself the installations he desired. To marvel at what was attained he wanted. For the occasion, the Ijiji by Marduk commanded from Mars to Earth came down. From the landing place and from the Abzu, Anunnaki were assembled. There were backslapping, inhaling, a feast and a celebration. For Anu Mana, Enlil's granddaughter, singing and dancing presented. With affection, Anu kissed her. Anunatu, Anu's beloved, he fondly called her. Before departing, I knew the heroes and heroines assembled. A new era has begun. So was he saying to them. Supplied directly with the golden salvation, forthcoming is the end of toil. Once enough gold on the Nibiru for protecting is piled in storage. Y'all hear that? Told you he was piling that gold up, man. It wasn't just about fixing a breach in the atmosphere. That man was piling that gold up. Once enough gold on the Nibiru for protecting is piled in storage, the toil on earth can be diminished. Heroes and heroines to Nibiru will return. That's a finesse. He lying. They ain't gonna never be able to return. Thus did Anu the king promise. A great hope to them he did extend. A few more showers of toil and homeward bound they shall be. So everybody excited because they thinking that Anu telling the truth. Anu just told everybody, hey guys, we doing good. We don't need but a few more showers of this gold and we good. We good. We can all go back to the Nibiru and leave this planet behind. But guess what? My boy Anu got a taste of that gold and he like it. Ain't nobody going back. Y'all got to stay here and get me that gold. I'm trying to tell you. With much pomp did Anu to Nibiru soar back. Gold, pure gold with him he carried. His new task, Utu performed. Hold on. His new task, Utu with cherish performed. Ninurta of Bad Tibera command retained. Marduk did not return to Mars. With his father to the Abzu he did not go. Over all the lands he wished to roam. In his skyship, the earth to comprehend. Of the Igigi, some on Mars, some on Earth, Utu was made the commander. After Anu to Nibiru returned, on Earth the leaders had great expectations. With renewed vigor to labor, the Anunnaki they expected. Gold quickly to amass, thereby quicker homebound to be. That, alas, was not what came to pass. In the Abzu, relief, not continued toil, was the Anunnaki's expectation. Now that the earthlings are proliferating, let them provide the labor. So were the Anunnaki and the Abzu saying. Okay? So the Anunnaki like, hey man, it's time for us to not have to do so much work. It's time for y'all to let these earthlings work full time. Okay? We don't even want to work part-time no more. Let them motherfuckers work full time. In the Edin, the tasks were greater. More abodes, more provisions were required. For primitive workers to the Abzu combined, did the Edin heroes clamor. For 40 shars was relief only to the Abzu provided. The heroes in the Edin shouted. Okay, let me make sure y'all understand what's going on. The Edin is near the Persian Gulf. Y'all know that's the beautiful region, cool, shaded, okay? So the Anunnaki, you got Anunnaki that's working in the Edin, and you got Anunnaki that's working in the Abzu. The Anunnaki that's working in the Abzu got some help. They got the humans, okay? So you got the Adamu line down there helping them. But the Anunnaki that's working in the Edin don't got no help, okay? So basically they sent the help to the Abzu because it's harder work. So they felt like the guys that's working in the Edin, y'all shouldn't be complaining because this is a better location than being in the Abzu, okay? So now the guys that's in the Edin is like, nah, man, we need some help. Send some of them humans up here to the Edin, okay? Our toil has increased beyond endurance. Let us have the workers too. While Enlil and Enki were debating the matter, Ninurta took the decision into his own hands. With 50 heroes, an expedition to the Abzu he led. With weapons, they were armed. So this is Ninurta. Ninurta getting too big for his own britches. Okay? Ninurta decided for himself to go and get some help. In the forest, in the steeps of the Abzu, they chased the earthlings. With net, they captured them. Male and female to the Edin, they brought them. How about that? So they done went down there and threw nets on them folks. Okay, they done captured them folks like some damn animals. Right? You see how the Anunnaki was treating our people, man? Treating them like animals. So they go down there, they throw nets on some of the males and the females, and they bring them back to the Edin. To do all manners of chores in the orchids and in the cities, they trained them. By the doings, Enki was angered. Enki was pissed off. I ain't never seen Enki this mad. Also, this enraged Enlil. Okay? So now you got both of the brothers mad at nephew and mad at Ninurta. Okay? Ninurta decided to take things into his own hands. He did this without consulting Enki and Enlil. Okay? My expelling of Adamu and Tiamat you have overturned, so Enlil to Ninurta said. Let the mutiny once in the Abzu occurring, not in the Edin, be repeated. So to Enlil, Ninurta said. So Enlil is telling Ninurta, I'll kick their ass out of the Edin. I didn't tell you to bring them back. And so Ninurta said, hey, Dad, I'm trying to keep a goddamn revolt from happening. Okay, do you remember? We had 2 revolts already. I'm trying to quell a revolt. With the earthlings in the Edin, the heroes are becalmed. A few more shards and it will no longer matter. So did Ninurta say to Enlil. Okay? So he says, listen, man, let's just give them a few of these earthlings so they can calm down. I just did this so they calm down, Dad. A few more shards and it don't even matter. We going home, right? Wrong. Enlil was not appeased. With grumbling, he said, let it so be. To his son, he said, let the gold pile up quickly. Let us all to Nibiru soon return. In the Edin, the Anunnaki with the earthlings, in the Edin, the Anunnaki, the earthlings with admiration observed. Intelligence they possessed, of commands they had understanding. They took over all manner of chores. Unclothed were the task performing. Hold on, man. What's up with these damn Anunnaki, man? The Anunnaki started to remind me of goddamn Nino Brown in New Jack City. Y'all remember Nino Brown had all them women buck naked in the Carter? Nino said you can't come in the Carter with no clothes on. You got to get buck naked to work up here, man. Come on now. Them goddamn, them damn EGG say, them EGG brought them folks up there and told them to get buck naked. Oh, y'all got to get buck naked before y'all take this shift. I'm trying to tell you, man, the damn EGG, man. They took over all manner of chores. Unclothed, they were the task performing. Male with females among them were constantly mating. 69 gods right here. Listen to this. Got them folks out there buck naked and them folks out there fucking like rabbits. Them folks out there got them out there, but they can't help but to hump on each other. You know what happened. Listen, when that first man and that first woman, when that first man caught that first nut, it was a wrap. He was on that woman every night. He ain't know how to stop. She ain't know how to stop him. Okay? So you know these folks is mating like rabbits out there, man. Male with females among them were constantly mating. Quick were their proliferations. In one shar, sometimes 4, sometimes more, there were generations. So I want y'all to realize that this is a lot of time that's passing by. Okay? This is a lot of time that's passing by. So that's what they want y'all to realize, that this is not just like 1 week. This is like shars that's passing by. In one shar, sometimes 4, sometimes more, there were generations. As the earthlings grew in numbers, workers the Anunnaki had. With food, the Anunnaki were not satiated. Okay, so this is a problem. Food is a problem. In the cities, in the orchid, in the valleys, and in the hills, the earthlings for food were constantly foraging. In those days, grains had not yet been brought forth. So this is before. Listen, I want y'all to understand where you at now. This is, man couldn't do no farming. Farming don't even exist yet. What we call agriculture, the Anunnaki have not even introduced that to us. All of the food that we eat at this time came from the natural earth. That means that God seeded. Okay, all the fruit trees you see, you know, these were trees and plants that God seeded. Okay, so a lot of the cultivation that we had when we discovered agriculture, this stuff don't exist. So ain't no wheat, ain't no grains, ain't none of this stuff going on, okay? So the only food that exists is the food from the trees, okay? In those days, grains had not yet been brought forth. You got to remember, the numbers are growing. The numbers of humans are growing, okay? So you got to feed them. There was no ewe. A lamb had not yet been fashioned. Did y'all hear that? You know what an ewe is, right? E-W-E. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what an ewe is. A E-W-E. That's another name for a lamb. That's the correct name for a lamb. Okay? A ewe. A ewe. A ewe. Okay. So a ewe is a lamb. All right? They say there was no ewe. A lamb had not yet been fashioned. Now, let me ask y'all something. If a lamb was a natural creature of the earth, it should be running around. They should see lambs everywhere. If a cow was a natural creature of earth, what are cows at? See, I'm gonna ask y'all. Let me ask y'all. I'm gonna ask y'all. Hold on. Where the cows at? Where the lambs at? Where the farm animals? My boy say on farms. Ain't no farms, big dog. Ain't no farms at this time. I think you might have misunderstood what I was asking, Ariston. What I'm telling you, what I'm saying is there's no ewe. A lamb had not yet been fashioned. There's no cattle. Where are cows? Where do cows and lambs and all of these animals come from? You know where wolves come from. You know where lions come from. You know where elephants come from. You know where monkeys come from. You know where all these different types of animals come from. I don't think y'all understand where I'm coming from. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Where the fuck is the cows come from? So think about this for all my new people. For all my new people, ask yourself that. Why have you ever seen a cow in the wild? Huh? Have you ever seen somewhere in the world where cows exist naturally? Where in the world? I'm asking y'all, is there any place in the world where cows exist in the wild? Ain't no fucking bison and wildebeest. No, wrong. Please. Whoever just said that, keep your mouth closed. It's a reason you're not in my class. It's a reason you're not in my class. But it said bison and wildebeest. They made it. Shh, be quiet. Don't say nothing else no more. So for all my new people, gang, cows are not indigenous to Earth. Lambs are not indigenous to Earth. These are not Earth's creatures. These are not Earth's creatures. They are not going to exist here until the Anunnaki bring them here. Yeah. So let me take some time. Let me slow down. Let me make some connections right quick. I'm going to show you something. So in the Bible, in your Bible, a lamb is a symbolic creature. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. In the Bible, in religion, is the lamb not a symbolic of religion? The lamb. The blood of the lamb, right? The lamb. They refer to Jesus as the lamb, right? Okay, now what I need y'all to understand is the problem we have in biblically is y'all took everything literally. And it's not your fault. It's the way it was taught to you. So everything you've been taught about the Bible, you took it in a literal sense, okay? When they speak about the lamb in the Bible, they're not speaking about a person or a specific. They're not speaking about just an animal, right? It's symbolic. The lamb is symbolic of people, okay? So I'm going to connect all of this for you. Check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When they talk about the Lord being my shepherd, they're talking about the Anunnaki. Let me ask y'all something. Who is teaching the humans? Who is teaching the humans? Who is guiding the humans? Who is teaching the humans? Who guide them? Is it not the Anunnaki? Okay. So if the Anunnaki are teaching the humans and are guiding the humans, isn't that what a shepherd does to his flock? A shepherd being the leader, ain't that what he do to his flock? He guides his flock. He leads his flock, right? Okay. So when we talk about a lamb, when we talk about biblically a lamb, when we talk about the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, that passage is talking about the Anunnaki being the shepherd and the earthlings being the lamb. Okay? We are the lambs. We are their ewes. Okay? That's how this is what we represent to them. We are their ewes. They are our shepherds. We are their ewes. They lead us. We follow. We learn from them. Okay? So, when we talk about the name ewe, right? Hold on. When we listen to the name ewe, right? That's not a name that's used a lot in reference to a lamb, but that's the correct terminology, ewe, right? So when I talk about Enlil being the God of the Hebrews, right? When I talk about Enlil being the God of the Hebrews and him having a chosen people, these was his chosen people. These were the people that he set aside and said, they're going to represent my will on the earth, right? So Enlil's chosen people would be considered his flock. Do you understand? Enlil's chosen people, the Israelites, was his flock. He was their shepherd and they were his flock. Okay? Y'all follow with me? Follow me. So he had a flock of ewes. Okay? Enlil, the Hebrew God, had his chosen flock. He had a flock of ewes. Now I'm going to throw some message y'all. The letter J. Okay, let's talk about the letter J. So when we think about, we think about the letter J, what people don't realize is the letter J is a very new concept. Only been around a couple hundred years. 1524 is when they created the letter J. So it was no letter J present before 1524. So what did they call Jews 7,000 years ago? 6,000 years ago? If there was no letter J, What did they call Jews? That's where you get that from. So when y'all saying Jews, that come from the term ewes. The ewes was the chosen flock. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Okay? That is where we get that term from. The term Jew didn't exist back then. Ewes. Okay? That's the flock. You're going to see that. I wanted to plant that seed for later. Okay? The term Jew comes from ewe, which was the flock. Which was the flock. All of this shit is symbolic, gang. It's all symbolic. Okay? So that's where you get the term Jew from. Ewes. Okay? So listen, at this time period, we're still in the time of the Adamu and the Tiamat. We have not created the second line of Homo sapiens. Right now is the time of Homo sapiens, okay? And we got a lot of these earthlings we got a lot of these earthlings now. It's more earthlings than the Anunnaki can feed, okay? The Anunnaki ain't like, they can't just clap their finger and everything appears. Like, they have to plant food and grow food. They have to do all of this shit, okay? So it ain't enough food to go around for the humans. So the humans are actually starving at this time. Because the little food that they got left, they making sure the Anunnaki get that. And at best, they trying to get a human scraps, okay? You know that they ain't giving a fuck, right? At this time, though, there is no cultivation. There is no farming. There is no agriculture. So I'm going to I'm finna tell y'all when agriculture was invented. So let me go to the timeline. I'm finna tell you right now when agriculture was invented. Think about this now. It's almost like 100,000 BC at this time period, right? Science says agriculture wasn't created until, wrap your mind around this shit. Okay, here we go. 7,000 BC. 7,000 BC. That's when they first started seeing signs that humans had the ability of agriculture. So we're talking 100,000 years ago, humans didn't have this ability. Humans didn't have the ability to plant food. None of that. All right? You had to be taught that. That's something somebody has to teach you. Okay? So the Anunnaki is going to eventually have to teach humans how to cultivate food for themselves. They don't want that to be right now. They don't want the humans having a bunch of power. If the humans can feed themselves, they ain't going to need the Anunnaki. The humans right now depend on the Anunnaki for sustenance. Okay? So let's move along. I wanted to plant a few seeds because we're going to need to know that. You're going to need to know about the lamb and the ewe, all of that stuff. I wanted to plant a few seeds. There was no ewe. A lamb had not yet been fashioned. About these matters, Enlil to Enki, angry words were saying. By your doings, confusion was created. By you, let salvation be devised. Now, this is an account of how civilized man was brought about. How by a secret of Enki, Adapa and Titi in the Edin were brought forth. By the proliferation of the earthlings, Enki was pleased. Enki was also worried. The lot of the Anunnaki was greatly eased. Their discontent was diminished. By the proliferations, the Anunnaki shunned toil. The workers as serfs were becoming discontent. By the proliferation of the earthlings, what by itself was growing was all insufficient. In 3 more shards of fish and fowl, there was a shortage. What by itself grows, Anunnaki and earthlings did not satiate. In his heart, Enki, a new undertaking was scheming. To create a civilized mankind, in his heart he conceived. Grains that are sown, by them to be cultivated. Ewes that become sheep, let them shepherd. Okay? So Enki is saying, hey man, I need to create a more civilized man. I need to create because like the Adamu was smarter than primates, but they weren't what they would consider intelligent. Okay? So basically Enki is saying, I need to create a new line. We need a new earthling, a more intelligent earthling. He says, I need to create one. I need to create one that can sow grains, that can cultivate, right? That can shepherd the sheep. Okay? He says, I need to create an earthling that can cultivate grains, one that can shepherd the ewes. In his heart, Enki, a new undertaking, was scheming. How this to attain, he contemplated. The primitive workers in the Abzu, for this scheme he observed. The earthlings in the Edin, in the cities, in the orchids he considered. What could for the task make them suited? What by the life essence has not been combined? The offspring of the earthlings he observed. In an alarming matter he noticed. By their repeated copulations back toward the wild forebears, they were degraded. Enki in the marshlands looked about. Okay, so something just went down that I don't want to just skip over. Okay? So Enki is already decided, hey man, we need a more civilized man. We need a more intelligent version of mankind. Okay? Now, the reason he's saying this is because the earthlings then got out of control. Okay? They've gotten they've gotten more primitive. They've went backwards. Instead of getting more intelligent, they've actually went backwards. And let me tell you why. There's a reason that their intelligence has digressed. There's a reason. It's a funny reason, but a reason nonetheless. He said, by their repeated copulations back toward the wild forebears, they were. Okay? So listen, you know what copulation is, right? We all know what copulation is, by repeated copulations. So we all know what that is, right? Bang, 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 bang. Right? You gotta whoop. Can't be pussy whip. You gotta whoop that pussy. So, by their repeated copulations, back toward their wild forebears, they were degraded. Okay? So let me explain to y'all what's going on. The Adamu is over-sexing. They having too much sex. Too much sex. Penis raw. Nigga just getting up, laying down in another woman, and he ain't paying no attention if that's his sister or who that is over here. Okay? See, that's the problem. They having so much sex that brother and sister are starting to copulate with each other. Mother and son is starting to copulate with each other. Are y'all following me? This is what's going on, because there's no... Guys, you got to remember, these people are not like us. These are the first people. They don't have the intelligence that we have. They don't know, ain't nothing off limit. A nigga can smash his mama, ain't nothing off limit to them. Niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because they stupid. I hate to say it that way. They was stupid. They was primitive, okay? So they having so much sex that incest is starting to set in, okay? It's becoming one big incest party, okay? So when you got all of these repeated copulations of brother and sister, mother and son, and what's going on is you get you creating more and more retarded children. You creating impaired children, deformed children, okay? Mentally deformed children, however you want to call it, okay? So imagine after a couple showers, you look up and all the goddamn Madama running around like fucking retards, right? Everybody running around fucked up because they, you know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. Oh no, they were basically out here like bitch Stewie. If y'all watch Family Guy, there's an episode on Family Guy where Stewie made a clone and he was called Bitch Stewie, but he was like retarded. Oh, hey, Stu. I haven't seen the Bitch Stewie episode. So anyway, so that's what happened. You know, they were copulating too much, and it caused a large incestuous population. Okay, and so yeah, Bitch Stewie, yeah, for sure. That's one of my favorite episodes right there. Got to pull that paste in his mouth. he just squeezed that paste in his mouth. So anyway, that's what happened. So they degraded mentally. So now Enki like, man, look at this shit. Man, these motherfuckers fucked up. Enki looked over there. Enki said, is that nigga having sex with his grandmama? That's your grandmama, dog. What you doing? Enki like, no, man, just throw this shit away, man. Throw the whole first line away. I ain't gonna lie. If Italy are mad at me, I'm gonna have to take it because he was right. Throw the whole first line away. Okay? So, yeah, Enki is thinking to himself, how can I create a new line, a better line? I wanna make a better line than what we have here. Okay? So when we get to class tomorrow, we're going to see how he went about creating the second line of humans. This is where we're going to stop today, gang. Okay? So when we come back tomorrow, oh yeah, it's shit finna hit the fan. Okay? So now, the second line of humans is who you know as the Adam and Eve, the biblical Adam and Eve. Okay? So the biblical Adam and Eve was named Adapa and Titi. Okay? Y'all about to meet Adapa and Titi tomorrow. Adapa and Titi are the parents of Cain and Abel. Okay? So those are all true stories, but you're going to get the real version. All right? Y'all ready to get the real Cain and Abel version? Y'all ready to get the real Adam and Eve version? Y'all ready to find out where the name Eve come from? Tomorrow you're going to learn where the name Eve come from. You think somebody just was like, oh, I'm going to call her Eve and it's Adam. We know where Adam come from. Adam is the Adamo. So all we did is shorten that. We know where that. But tomorrow you're going to find out where the name Eve comes from. Okay? And you're going to be able to see how they created the Homo sapiens sapiens. All right? Now, I will tell you guys this. Let me throw this in there. Guys, your brother Chief Kuttah, I be doing a lot of research. And in my time, a group of people that I've always kind of been enamored with was the people we call the Aboriginals of Australia. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with the Australian Aborigines. Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with the Okay. All right. So this is closer to what the Adamu would have been like. This is kind of like what the Adamu, looking like Shannon Sharp out this bitch. Look at my boy. Shay Shay done smoked a blunt. That Shay Shay got some za. My boy had that za back then. Back then, 100,000 BC. That good za. What was that nigga smoking on? That nigga was running around. That nigga was smoking good back then. Coming through the Edin, blowing a fat one. Goddamn Shannon Sharp. Shay Shay! Fucking Shannon Sharp. Oh, shit. So anyway, here we go. The Australian Aborigines, if you know anything about them people, they are very ancient. Okay? The Aborigines are so ancient that there's a debate about who came first, them or the Africans. Yeah, they go back that long. A lot of people had to debate that. Who came first, them or the Africans? But guess what, gang? That's why you come to class, okay? So let me make sure y'all understand something. The Aborigines are the first Africans. That's the key. That's the key. It ain't, see, you got to stop thinking about land masses. Africa was the first, where everything started. You can't change that. That's the key. These people would travel. Okay, you got to remember the Anunnaki were a global society. So they moved their workers wherever they needed them to be. Okay? So when Enki decided to bring forth a civilized man, he moved the Adamu. The Adamu couldn't be up there because it's going to be competing. The Adamu would have been competing with the civilized man, with the Homo sapiens sapien. Okay? The Adamu would have been competing with the Adapu. The Adapu probably would have destroyed the Adamu. So they had to move the Adamu out. Okay? And I'm guessing they chose Australia as the place to put them. Okay? Or close to it, however it may be. But the reason why I know the Adamu to be from the line of, the Aborigines be from a line of Adamu, because it is. That highbrow bridge. The Aborigines got a very distinct highbrow bridge. It's very hominid-like, right? I wish I had a picture to pull up. Of an Aborigine. I don't got one right here in front of me. But if you go and look at them, you notice they got that almost Neanderthal looking look, right? Got that highbrow bridge, right? And that's an early, that is a trait that's descendant of the first man, okay? So the reason why they got that trait, and don't know other black people around the world, ask yourself something. Watch this shit. Watch this. No other black people around the world look like the Aborigine. If you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. Ain't no other black people around the world. You can go look at the Pacific Islander black people. You can go look at the African black people. Go look everywhere. Don't nobody. Them people on Australia, they the only ones that look like that. Out of all the black people in the world, they look different from all the other black people. Almost like they a different fucking line. Almost like they a different line. Yeah. Now, so I want you to know something. This the shit you can't get in a book. For all them people that keep coming through here talking about, oh, you can get this knowledge in a book. Nigga, there ain't no book that exists that's going to tell you that the Adamu is the descendant, is that the Aborigines are the descendants of the Adamu. Ain't no book going to tell you that. You getting that shit in class. That's the only place you're going to get this. And you know it makes sense. It makes sense. So, like I say, right now, that's still a theory. That's still a theory that I'm championing, but I guarantee you it's going to be proven. I guarantee you it's some people out there in the world that probably already have validated that. I just got to find them. You know I love validation, okay? So, yeah, guys, we covered a lot today, man. We covered quite a bit. I'm gonna upload this one after I get out of here with you guys. But we covered quite a bit. You learned about where we get the term month from, right? From the moon cycles. You got a chance to learn how Venus became the gaseous planet that it is. I told y'all about the ice comet ripping off the atmosphere off of Mars and the moon, okay? The ice comet ripped off the atmosphere of Mars and the moon. We got a chance to see just quite a bit unfold today in today's class, all right? So tomorrow we will be dealing with Enki, creating a civilized man. I think also we're going to be covering Marduk's wedding, okay? Marduk is going to get married to an earth woman, okay? How wild is that? Now think about how wild that was, right? It's one thing, first of all, the Anunnaki did not smile upon the idea of Anunnaki having sex with earthlings because they looked at us like creatures, okay? Marduk gonna take the shit a step further. Marduk gonna marry an earth woman, all right? So that'll be the first marriage between Nibiru and Earth, all right? So this is what we're gonna get into tomorrow. It's gonna be a good class, all right? So I hope everybody had a good time today. Hope everybody learned something. If you got any questions, feel free. Chief Kuttah in the building. That makes sense, Cat. Cat, that makes perfect sense, Cat. That makes perfect sense. 14, our sisters say that there are 14 of the largest gold mines in Australia. Boom! Don't tell me they wasn't there. You know damn well they was there. If it's 14 of the largest gold mines there, they was there. And they took the Adamu down there to do the work. They took the Adamu there, dropped them off. They took the Adamu there. Shalonda Sherry, my love, this is a class, my love. You got to join the class, okay? I appreciate you being in here and being able to hang out with us today, but this is a class. Everybody that you see in here is a part of this course. So if you want to be a part of the course, you have to join the course, my love, okay? You have to join the course. All of these people in here paid to be a part of this course. We meet every day, Monday through Friday, and we do this for about 4 months. This class takes about 4 months to teach, okay? But this is a college course. This is better than college, okay? You ask my people in the class. So if you're interested in being a part of our course, you can be a member, but we allowed y'all to chill today, okay? I just want y'all to know that we allowed y'all to chill today. I could have easily told my mom to remove everybody that's not a course member, okay? UMF, PCM family, put the 5s in the chat. UMF, PCM family, put the 5s in the chat. Okay, so all of these people paid to be in here. Okay? Everybody you see right here putting these 5s up, they all paid to be a part of this course. Omni Will, not you, family. I don't know who you are. You're not a course member. So if you want to join our course, do like these people do. Value the information and knowledge. Those who value information and knowledge, learn. Those who don't value, remain a baby brain. Okay? Don't remain a baby brain. All right? If you are interested in joining our course, the fee is $75 to attend, all right? If that is too much money for you, then that means the knowledge is not worth it. It depends on how important the knowledge is. You can't get this shit I teach from a book because books don't explain nothing to you. Books simply tell you information. They don't give an explanation. They don't connect dots, okay? So you get a 3-dimensional education in here. All right. So if you're interested in joining the class, you can message me and I'll send you the information. But please don't waste my time. If you know you're not going to join the class, don't ask me to send the information. Okay? But all you got to do is message me if you want to join. But just know tomorrow you're not going to be able to be in here. If you're not a member, if you're not a course member, you will not be allowed to enter tomorrow. Door going to be closed like a mug. All right? So shout out to everybody that showed some love. Shout out to everybody that supported. If y'all got any questions, feel free to let them fly. I'm going to take a few questions and then I'm going to climb up out of this place. All right? My sister, appreciate the love, baby. Appreciate the love. I look into the future and I see a beautiful future. Building, my brother. If Brother Canayo's still in the building, put a 5 in the chat for me, my brother. If Canayo's still in the building, put a 5 in the chat for me. Oh, shout out to my sister Omni. Omni, I appreciate the love, baby. Appreciate the donation. We got a donation from Sister Omni today. And as always, guys, as always, if you want to show some love to the UMF, you know what I'm saying? We always taking donations to help us continue this movement. This movement is very important. The education is the most important. And let me tell y'all, man, I have to educate y'all because it's the fucking religion that's holding us back. It's the religion that's keeping us from protecting ourselves against our enemy. It's the religion that's keeping us putting money in the wrong places. Because of our relationship with religion is what's causing us to put so many of our resources in the wrong places. We giving this money to these preachers when we should be taking this money and putting it back into the community. Okay? This is why I chose to teach. Okay? Shout out to the family. Come on with it, man. Who that send me that hard-ass piece and chain? Shout out to ETP. ETP in the building. The education is the most important thing for our community, gang. I'm telling y'all right now, we got to stop being the Adamu. That's the problem. We got to stop being the Adamu. It's time to be the civilized man. It's time to be more intelligent. Okay? That's why Chief trying to show y'all where these folks done lied to you. Think about that. Think about this children's story we've been believing the whole time. Ooh, Adam ate the apple, and that's why we sinned against God, and that's why everything bad happened. That's a fucking children's story. Now we got the true story. We know it wasn't no goddamn Adam, no damn apple. Which one make more sense to you? A genetic alteration leading to increase in mental capacity or eating a fucking apple? Which one make more sense than you, huh? Come on, man, we tearing this shit down. They've been blaming y'all women. My sisters, I love y'all. They've been blaming y'all for everything. Everything that go wrong in this world. Oh, it's because the woman. It's because the woman. The woman, you know, if the woman wouldn't have never made Adam eat that apple, we'll be all good. Bullshit. Quit blaming these women, man. I don't know what's wrong with these dudes. I don't know. Maybe because I've been a player all my life. I love women. I always treated women good. Women always treated me good. So I ain't got no hatred for no woman. But stop lying on these women, man. I don't respect no religion that subjugates women and children. I don't respect no religion that tells a woman she got to stay in her place and she can't be free to move how she want to move. I don't respect it. I don't respect that at all. So at the end of the day, guys, we got a lot of good information. We learning the Sumerian tablets is correcting a lot of things, man. Think about all the scientific shit we learning. Lord have mercy, we learned today how Mars lost its atmosphere. Come on, man. We learned how Mars lost its atmosphere. We learned how Venus became a gas planet. Why is it so gassy on Venus? The ice comet melted, creating the gas, creating these gas clouds. Now, I want y'all to know something. Science ain't gonna always back us up because you know science has an agenda, okay? There is true science and then there's agenda science. True science gonna back us up. Agenda science ain't gonna always back us up. So we can't be going and thinking that these scientific institutions go support everything. It's a reason why they call the jump from Homo erectus to Homo sapien the missing link. Because they don't want to fill in the missing link. They don't want to tell y'all that the missing link is the Anunnaki. And they don't want to tell you all the things that go. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to become me, a free spirit. I'm free, guys. I don't live in the confines of society no more. That's why I can teach y'all. I swear to God, I live a very free experience. I get to go through life and just basically do the things that bring joy, that brings comfort, that brings value. See, I don't do anything. I bring the things that bring joy, comfort, and value. I do not live a life where I gotta go to work in the morning. I don't live that life. I created businesses that make money hand over foot. We got all kind of things going on that allow me to live a very fruitful life. Okay? I want y'all to live the same kind of life. I want y'all to be able to go through life, not have to worry about income. I want y'all to go through life, not have to be worried about what's going to happen next. I don't want you worrying at all. That's another thing. I don't worry. I don't do no worrying because that's when you evolve spiritually, that's what happens. The need for worration goes away. I don't have worries, right? I control everything mentally. I'm winning everything with my mind, first and foremost. So it's always free to think positively. I want y'all to remember that. It is free. I don't give a shit what the circumstance is. It don't cost you nothing to think that the outcome is going to be positive. If you got a problem convincing yourself of a positive outcome, something is wrong with you. I convince myself, I don't give a damn. I don't care if I'm finna get into a boxing match with a 7'7" giant. In my mind, I done already won and I'm going to win. Even if I get pummeled to the ground, that's my mindset. I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, even if I lose. And then when I get back up, that I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win continues to be my mindset. So learn how to condition your mind to see positivity, to see success. I want y'all to have a good life. I live a great life. I love my life. There's a lot of people that's got way more money than me, but I guarantee you it ain't that many more people that's got more joy than me. See, it's what are you when the money's gone? That's what I want to know. What is your life when the money gone? See, when the money gone out of my life, it's still going to be full of happiness. I don't even give a shit about no money. If you give me some land and let me grow my own fruit trees, let me cultivate my own vegetables, things of that nature, I don't even need your paper money no more. I don't give a shit. Keep your paper money. I just want to have me some land that I can cultivate my own food, have my own source of water. I don't need your paper money no more. So I want us all to get there. But like I say, it starts with the education. I told y'all, man, you know, every time I talk about what the community needs, the first thing baby brains jump up and say is, man, we need to get guns. We need to start getting guns and we need to do this. And we need to, man, shut up. That ain't what we need to do. You can go get many guns as you want to. If you're a dumbass, you're going to be a dumbass with a gun. No, you need to strengthen your mental gun. This is what you need to do. This needs to become a gun. This needs to become a weapon. We need to start embracing the term, the quote, knowledge is power. We need to embrace that. Okay? So this is the way we do that. First, you get the truth of humanity. So this is what you're doing first. You're going to get the truth of humanity with me. I'm going to teach you about all the stuff they lied to you about. Once you can see who is lying to you and who is perpetrating these narratives, now you can start protecting yourself against them. Okay? So, you know, let me tell you right now, guys, don't ever feel guilty about not going to church. Don't ever feel guilty about that. I don't go. You should never go. until they change their mind and they want to start working with the community. Because the church ain't working with the community. The church working for itself. If it want to start working for the community, we can do some beautiful things together. But I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of us giving all our resources to this goddamn church and look at the situation we in. Look at the situation we in. We don't own a goddamn thing. We don't own no power companies. We don't own no water companies. We don't own no massive amounts of land. We don't own no corporations as a people. None of that. Because we giving away all of our resources to these lying-ass religious institutions, and that shit holding our people back. So, Brother Chief Kuttah, come with the truth, man. God is real. That I told you. I said, I'm going to bring you closer to the true God. I said that was my goal, is to bring you closer to the true God so you can understand what God is, so you can honor God better, so you can honor the consciousness better. Okay? I'm going to take you away from worshiping these false deities. I'm going to show you that the Bible is dealing with many different gods, not just one. Many different gods. Shit, and I think in I forgot exactly where it's at in the Bible, but I know Joshua was talking to the Israelites, and he asked them, who y'all gonna worship? Y'all gonna worship the God of Egypt, or is y'all gonna worship the God of Canaan? Okay? So even in the Bible, they telling you that there was multiple gods. Even in the Bible, they telling you that. Joshua say, who y'all gonna worship? The God of Egypt or the God of Canaan? They had multiple gods. And multiple gods. So what I'm here to show you is you know who these multiple gods were, and that these people were not gods. They were men who possessed technology. They had technology. They had spaceships. Just like we talked about the rib story. Okay, when you read in the Bible, you're talking about somebody had to put Adam to sleep, right? You talk about somebody had to put Adam to sleep. Take his rib out and sew it back up. We talking about the God that they say can rise somebody from the dead, right? So you mean to tell me that God had to put the man to sleep, had to cut him open, remove his rib? That's a surgical procedure. You telling me my God have to do surgery? That's like telling me my God got to drive a vehicle. That's like telling me my God got to drive a vehicle. That don't fly. God ain't supposed to have to drive no vehicle. God ain't supposed to have to do no surgery. That's man shit. That's shit that man do. God ain't no man. If your God is a man, you in trouble. Because man can be killed. Man can be beat up, whooped, chained. If your God is a man, you in trouble. So that's what I want y'all to think about, man. I want y'all to just think about all of this stuff that they gave us, that now we realize that this don't make sense. Why would God need to do a surgical procedure? Why? No, that was the Anunnaki, huh? The people, I told y'all, man, y'all been listening to people from the biblical times. You taking your information from people that's way less intelligent than you. The people of biblical times, they were just like the Adamu. They were not too far from the Adamu. They were not too far from the Adamu. So when they saw these flying spaceships, they saw the Anunnaki in these spaceships, all they knew was, we ain't got no spaceships, so these must be gods. Whoever these men are that's able to fly, these must be gods, because we don't got the ability to do that. And then the Anunnaki was taller, was bigger than them. So when they seeing these big old ass people and they seeing these spaceships, that's all they thinking. This must be the gods. These the gods. So you still think that they the gods to this day, because primitive ass Moses and people of his time thought the same thing. And I have told y'all over and over again, you don't live in the same kind of houses that Moses lived in. You don't use the same type of mode of travel. You don't do nothing the same from Moses' times, but you still hold on to the beliefs of that time. Why have you upgraded all of these parts of your life, but you ain't upgraded the way you think about that period? Why are y'all so quick to trust in these people's observance? Like, we don't know these folks. Oh, you know, Job said this, and who the fuck is Job? Nigga, I don't know Job. Who is Job? Y'all know that nigga? Y'all be so quick to tell you, well, you know, Job and, you know, Matthew and Mark and all these motherfuckers said this. Matthew and Mark, brother, wasn't no Matthews and Marks in that land, brother. Wasn't nobody back there named Matthew, Mark. Wasn't nobody back there named fucking Chad, Jake, John, Joseph. Folks ain't have these kind of names, man. So you got to ask yourself, if somebody was changing names, what else they changed? Huh? Do you research on the Council of Nicaea? You know, it's black folks walking around this motherfucker that don't even know that the Council of Nicaea, they don't even know what the Council of Nicaea is. You got black folks that will come on here and they will argue with you about the Bible. And then you say to them, well, what about the Council of Nicaea? What is that? What's the Council of Nicaea? Exactly. Don't come to me, man. Listen, man. Hey, man. Intelligence is a currency, brother. Get your money up. You hear me? Intelligence is a currency. That's a monetary. Get your motherfucking money up, man. Get your knowledge up, man. Don't come to me with this baby brain ass shit that y'all believe in. It's a new day. It's a new day, homie. So I'm going to teach my